man. You in the mix. Sports mix. Yeah. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the sports mix with Kenny. News and knowledge. A lot of dope techniques make kids become scholars. You need to tune in. A lot of hot topics. When it comes to sports, Kenny sound like a prophet. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. Plus he keep you up on all the hottest trends. Plus you never know who he has as a guest. So grab a cold one, man, and just tune in. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. You rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty.
Oh, what up, y'all? Sports Mix. Big Kenny checking in. My guy, Dino.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What up,
sir.
homie? It
Man,
looks like we having some technical difficulties on Facebook. So we live on YouTube, live on Instagram. Facebook is not cooperating. So we're just gonna rock it out. Just gonna go with it. You know, if we can get on Facebook or catch up. If not, what we got. So what's going on, brother?
hey, you know, headlines is the snow, the weather, the cold,
Yeah.
digging out, and you know, so hopefully everybody out there in the sports world is you know, coping well with the weather and those conditions.
Yeah, definitely the blizzard that wasn't quite a blizzard, that was,
Right,
ice storm that,
right.
you know,
We don't get these
cold
things
temperature.
no more.
Nah, you know, we had to go back to what 2016. Last time we had some significant precipitation. Is that what
Exactly.
they call it?
Winter, yeah, that winter precipitation. Exactly.
Yeah, we usually get the mild temperatures. You might have a couple of days where it's like freezing cold, but now it look like temperature's supposed to be down for about a week or so.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's
So
what they're saying.
that's what they say.
That's what they're saying, man. So that's what happened today. I don't know what happened today. Ty Williams. I don't know if I should ask. These they always be setups. You know,
Right.
always be setups. But yeah, I'm and we ain't live on Facebook. Get a pretty good audience on Facebook. But YouTube, we here. Got quite a few people watching on YouTube. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button over there. Subscribe to the channel. We talk a little NFL today. Super Bowl matchup is set. Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. You know, got Mike McDonald, familiar to us here in Baltimore, former Ravens defensive coordinator. What's his second year out there in Seattle?
Yeah,
Second year head coach.
it ain't
Got
take
his
long.
team, got his team in the big show.
It did not take long.
Yeah. And then Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
First year up back in New England, he was a player that won two or three Super Bowls as a player on the Patriots. His first year as the head coach, and he's got the Patriots in the Super Bowl for the first time since the Tom Brady era, Tom Brady Belichick era. Let me not forget about Bill.
Yeah, no.
So Vrabel has Patriots in the Super Bowl. Patriots Seahawks got 2 weeks, so it's gonna be a lot of, how they go in between them 2 weeks in between Super Bowl, man. A lot of chit chatter and a lot of stories and a lot of this and a lot of that. People making up stuff and people, you know how it go.
Right.
All of the who should be a head coach and who shouldn't be, and how many jobs left. I know Pittsburgh filled their vacancy, Baltimore filled their vacancy. The Ravens, of course.
Yeah.
We got a coach.
Giants filled theirs.
Got molar tooth. He got his molar tooth pulled.
Who is that?
That's Ty Williams. He said, guess what happened today? He got his molar tooth pulled.
Who is Ty Williams?
He watched it on YouTube. Yes, you should be mad. I'm sure that hurt. Now, I'm not sure which one is the molar. I guess the molars are in the back.
Yeah.
Or would they be the wisdom?
I think wisdom are considered molar, but
yeah. I remember having mine pulled out.
Yeah.
But I remember prior to them getting pulled out, there was a lot of pain associated with having them. I think the two on this side, we talking about dentistry, man. The two on this side are still back here.
Yeah.
The two on this side had to come out.
This is one of your most unexpected mixes on the sports.
Yeah.
You know that's
I can do that.
Yeah, I mean that's like bringing Lou Rawls in. You feel me?
Hey, you're right.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The shock. The shock.
You'll never find.
So, thank you for the subscription, Ty Williams. Appreciate you. Let me see. So you said I got a couple things going on here. So it's the big one, but no, it wasn't the wisdom. Okay. So it's one of those in the back, not quite the wisdom. Yeah. Well, having teeth pulled is not a pleasant thing.
No.
I've never had a tooth pulled and felt good about it.
No.
Ever.
Anytime they got to jab you with a needle to numb you and all that kind of stuff, man, it's not. I mean, you're there with your mouth wide open. Man. It's not a fun experience.
No, it's not a good experience. But Ty, I hope you feel better. Thank you for subscribing.
Definitely.
If there's anything we can do here to help ease that pain,
right.
Let us know. I don't know who your favorite team is. Hope maybe it's one of the teams that's in the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Maybe
it could be the Patriots or it could be the Seahawks. But I hope you feel better. I know that's not pleasant having your teeth pulled.
Right.
So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks for joining us on the Sports Mix. So the Ravens got a new coach. And full disclosure, there wasn't a name that I saw bantered about, when they were throwing names around for potential head coaches. Is it Greg Minter? Jesse Minter. I'm sorry. Greg Minter. I don't know who the hell Greg Minter is. Jesse Minter. So he was the defensive coordinator with the Los Angeles, formerly San Diego Chargers. With the other Harbaugh. You know what, man? Is it weird to you how these guys, man? I mean, you get if you work for one, you work for the other.
Yeah.
What I mean? They seem to get jobs at some place where the other one was at. I mean.
Yeah.
What is going on with these Harbaugh boys, man?
Yeah, it's definitely a connection there. You like you say, you coach for one, you wind up coaching for the other. You play for one, you wind up playing for the other. It's a whole lot of flip-flopping going on. And yeah, Minter is the OC of Jim Harbaugh's team, was the OC of Jim Harbaugh's team. So now he shuffles in as the head coach for the Ravens moving forward. And it's kind of, the name wasn't a real big name, I would say publicly, but I think that this guy Minter, he sort of fits. And I just think that the guy who was coaching Seattle, Mike Macdonald, is one of the prototypical type of coaches that you're looking for. He's like the new generational type of coach. And I think that in my mind, when it came to selection time for Bisciotti, I thought that Mentor and Weaver was another name out there, um, especially with his Ravens experience, and he was like the assistant head coach or something like that. So I thought that meant something for a guy like Weaver to have that title with the Ravens. But Mentor is a guy who coached with the Ravens previously, 2017 to 2020. He sort of followed. He rubbed shoulders with Mike Macdonald when Mike Macdonald left the Ravens and went with Jim Harbaugh at Michigan as their defensive coordinator. Mentor moved into his spot with the Ravens, and I can't remember exactly what that role was. And then when Mentor came back to when Macdonald came back to the Ravens as the defensive coordinator, Mentor went to Michigan as the defensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh with Michigan. That's the year they won a national title. And then obviously from there he went to the Chargers for the DC job right there, Jim Harbaugh. So yeah, all of that Harbaugh thing is going on back and forth, the connections, Oweh and Alohi Gilman and all the swapping of players and things like that. Even Greg Roman was their offensive coordinator last year. He just got fired, but he was their offensive coordinator. If they would have called me, I would have told Jim not to waste his time with Roman as offensive coordinator, but he hired him after 1 year. He done fired the man. So it's a lot of that flip-flopping going on, and we now have Mentor, and I'm okay with the selection. I think he fits the mold of the young. I think he's only like 41 or 2 or something like that. He's a young coach. I saw some highlights of him talking to what's that safety out there in the Chargers? That he's a baller. His name ain't coming to me, but I saw him talking to some of the guys, and some of the things that he was saying to them was so detail oriented. Those are some of those comments are comments that we would never hear from John Harbaugh, because Harbaugh doesn't have the X's and the O's in his repertoire. He was a special teams coach, never an offensive coordinator, never a defensive coordinator, never a linebackers coach, never offensive line coach. None of those things are inside of John Harbaugh's bag. So I think the Ravens, and we talk all the time about the game, it's a game of inches. It is a game of inches. And if you watched the NFC Championship game, the AFC Championship game, those games were very closely played. Great ball games to watch. Close. It's a game of inches, and all that attention to detail, it makes a difference to me. And I think that this guy, Mentor. See, it's cold outside, so we could say winter is here. We can also say Mentor is here. And that's where we at right now.
Hey, sound like you dug into your MC bag there.
Yeah,
Mentor in the winter.
Yeah.
And that's about all I got. I was digging for another word.
Right.
It wasn't working out for me. So Mentor is the guy. Greg. What is his name? Is it Greg? Jesse. Man, God damn, I just said Greg. Damn. I guess at some point I'm not gonna have a choice but to know his name.
When he win that Super Bowl for us, we gonna know his middle name and everything.
Yeah. Jesse Mentor. Jesse Mentor.
Yeah.
Jesse Mentor. All right, Jesse.
Right.
So I guess now, with Jesse in the fold, the big thing is I see he brought the did he? Well, I see he reached out for permission to do some interviews with some coaches.
Yeah.
I saw where Lamar Jackson and some of the offensive guys were lobbying for uh, the old Arizona head coach, young
Yeah.
guy, Cliff Kingsbury.
Kingsbury. Yeah.
Kingsbury. They were lobbying for him. I see Mike McDaniel is now in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He took the Los Angeles offensive coordinator's position. Did I see somewhere that John Harbaugh he hired the defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator up in New York?
That's a good question.
I want to say he hired a DC.
I think it might be the DC because I thought that he was high on Monken, supposedly trying to bring Monken up as his offensive coordinator, but Monken was interviewing for jobs. So yeah, maybe it was a defensive coordinator, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Now Monken is no longer a candidate in Cleveland. So I saw today where he may be back in the fold with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
With the Giants, because he's no longer the in the running up in Cleveland. So the title, you know how I do. My subtitle this week is Cleveland Browns just can't get right. The Browns just can't get right, man, and I mean, it got to suck to be a Cleveland Browns fan.
Yeah.
To see your team constantly fumbling. I mean, whether it's the quarterback situation, whether it's the head coach situation, they just constantly fumbling the ball. And they have at least 3 or 4 guys have just backed out of they did an interview, did one interview, and then came back and said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and do this offensive coordinator or this." They don't even want to be the head coach. I'm gonna just be a coordinator.
Right.
I'd rather just do that. So Cleveland, man. I mean, then I saw something where they had this extensive questionnaire, like it's like you coming in there taking the exam or something, like you're taking the SAT test.
Wow.
Some kind of foolishness, man. I don't know, but
wow.
Cleveland, man, just can't get right. They continuously fumble the ball. At every turn. It don't matter what it is, man. They just can't get right. Just from the whole debacle in the draft last year with the drafting of the quarterbacks and just the whole way they traded Joe Flacco to a division rival early on in the season, and I'm like, come on, man, what's really going on up in Cleveland, man? I mean, did Art Modell really leave them in that bad a shape when he pulled that team out of Cleveland and brought them? They haven't been right since they've been back. They've had a couple playoff runs.
Yeah, a couple
but
years.
It's been so spread out that nothing sustained, nothing like year to year where they like, all right, Cleveland is a player. They have a decent year, and then they go right back to being. I mean, they making the Bengals look like a decent organization.
Right.
They make the Cleveland Bungles look like a decent organization out there, and we know that was not the case. That was definitely not the case. Cleveland was always a terrible. I mean, Cincinnati was always the worst team in the division, as far as the organization was concerned. Mm-hmm. I'm not even talking about
right.
Just as far as the play on the field. I'm just talking about organization. They were always one of the worst teams in the league. Let me not just say the division, but in the league, in the whole NFL. And Cleveland and Cincinnati still cheap. They still a team that's not really going to break the bank.
Yeah.
To buy players. I mean, they got arguably the best quarterback wide receiver tandem in the league. And I mean, they, I know quarterback was hurt this year, and we give them a pass for that, man. But I mean, them dudes light the scoreboard up. They put
Yeah.
stats up,
Yeah.
And they paid them guys. So they did pay those guys. But the Cleveland Browns, man, I mean, you got coaches that's looking for head coaching jobs that's saying, "Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna pass on that." That's not a good look.
No.
That's not a good look for Cleveland. And
usually guys are clamoring for a head coach job.
yeah,
These guys moonwalking.
yeah, they getting up out of there. They like, nah,
not a good look.
Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and be the special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
They taking jobs like that.
Exactly. And that's not a good look. And historically, and we got to go back some years prior to Modell moving the team to Baltimore. The Browns were in it, man. They had that dog pound.
Mm-hmm.
Them guys had great games. I remember them losing the Elway on the drive and all those. I mean, going back to the legendary Jim Brown, arguably the greatest player to ever step on a field. Football field. I mean, there is tradition in Cleveland. Modell ran the club in a real nice way. Although they wanted to kill him once he moved the team. We understand that, but I think these franchises, we've had the chance to listen to Bisciotti speak at length in his press conference, and when you think about NFL franchise, man, it starts with the owners. It starts with the owners at the top, the guy that's running the show, as Bisciotti put it, the one who really has the power.
Yes.
And when you look at Cleveland making that deal with what's the massage guy name?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson, yeah. They made this crazy deal with Deshaun Watson. I mean, they threw a bag at this dude, man, that had the whole NFL up in arms. Yeah. All the owners was hating on Cleveland for making that kind of deal. So when you see something like that coming from the folks with the power, the owners making moves like that, you can almost guess what's going to happen with the rest of the franchise as you go down to GM and head coach and so forth and so on. And the thing is that we get a chance to see Cleveland every year, and we know they got talent on the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We see the talent. We see the defense has always been pretty good, especially with that monster up there on the line. So we've been able to see them, and yeah, they've been bad, man. They've been really, really bad, and the whole drafting of what was the other one? They get Shador in the 5th round. They picked the other guy,
the lefty.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, they draft him, maybe in the 3rd round or something. I don't know, and they bring in Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco and Tyler Huntley, and I mean, on and on. They got these quarterbacks, and they're like, what the hell is going on with these guys? you can't really figure out what's happening with them. And now you see it when that job is opened up. Stefanski leaves out, and he gets a job. He gets another head coaching job. I don't know. Did he go to Miami or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Stefanski gets hired right away. And it's funny because I think Stefanski been there for 5 years, and 2 of the 5 years he was named coach of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a franchise that has talent, because over the last 5 years, obviously, I think they did make the playoffs a couple of times, but as far as from ownership down, they've been struggling.
Yeah. Well, I want to say I feel sorry for him, but I'd be lying if I said that. And I don't do no lying on a Monday. You know, I don't want to be telling no fibs on a Monday. So, hey, Cleveland, now y'all gotta get yourself together, man.
Yeah.
You know, Cleveland, and Cleveland fans. You know, I hope y'all get to see something. So Ty Williams, hey, I've been sorry, I've been trying to deal with these technical difficulties. So Ty Williams is a Seahawks fan. So congrats.
Oh, congrats
You
on
know,
that.
your team is in the Super Bowl. You get the, you know, for the next 2 weeks, you're hopeful. You know, you got hope that they're gonna cut the proverbial nets down, as they say. You know, get to hoist that Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, for 2 weeks, it's all hope. You know, your Seahawks and Patriots fans are going to be talking smack all for the next 2 weeks. You know, they're going to talk about the Seahawks history with the 6 Super Bowl rings, and uh, Seahawks has one ring. They should have two,
Yeah, they
and
should.
and the Patriots should be less one, but that's for another story there.
Right.
You know, uh, you know, you know. So I think Mike McDonald would have ran the ball in that situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You know, had he been the head coach of that team,
Yeah,
I'm sure he would have chosen to run the ball. You know, I was surprised, even, you know, watching the Broncos and Patriots game yesterday, how competitive that game was, man. With the Broncos having a backup quarterback in, um, I mean, it was a defensive game, and them boys they came to play. It was, you could tell something was on the line. You know, nobody was going to wilt. They fought all the way to the end, man. And New England was able to pull it out. But give shout out to Denver. You know, playing with a backup quarterback, it's not an easy thing to do in the
No.
AFC Championship game. And dude said he hadn't started since 2023, something like that.
Yeah, 23, 22, I think.
22,
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, so
One-
that
yeah.
to be put in that situation, and he didn't play bad. You know, he didn't play bad. You know, both games yesterday was good games. You know, just from a competitive standpoint, watching, um, you know, you know, you always feel like your team should have been there. You know, I'd have much rather been watching the Ravens play, you know, somebody, but you know, it wasn't our
Right.
turn, wasn't our year.
Yeah, well now, yeah.
You know, it wasn't our year, so you know, it's whatever, you know. But
And you know, and to kind of put, and you know, there's been a lot of talk about Drake Mayo. Is it Mayo or May?
Drake May.
Drake May. There's been a lot of talk about. I'm thinking about a sandwich or something. You know, so. Pardon me. You know, yeah, Drake May. Now, this young dude, I think he's 20. He's like one of the youngest quarterbacks. I know they threw Dan Marino name out there.
Yeah.
He may be the second youngest or the youngest quarterback they're ever going to start in the Super Bowl. And so this guy definitely been playing some ball. He's playing at a very high level, you know, at such a young age. And, you know, there's always the talk of Tom Brady's name always being tossed out there, you know, baby Brady and you know, different things like that. I agree with you when you talk about that backup quarterback for Denver playing. I think that made a world of a difference in the game. In my mind, if you got your starting quarterback in that game, you beat New England. You know, after watching that game. And so I'm not, you know, kudos to New England, and I like their coach, always have. Vrabel,
Like Rabel, yeah.
yeah, he looked like he ready to go out there and get on the line, you know, the way he on that sideline. It's like he wants some put them pads on, and he want to get out there. And you know, and that's the same thing we kind of saw with the Rams coach, McVay. McVay is wound, man. He is wound up, man, to where he'll go a whole quarter without blinking his eyes, man. You know, maybe wide open. And he ain't blinking them, you know.
Yeah.
And you see a Sean McVay calling plays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see a Mike McDonald calling defensive plays in the game. And you know, and when we looking at our guy, former guy, Harbaugh ain't there. Harbaugh is not on that level. So, you know, that's why I like the hire for the Ravens. I done went back to Mentor, you know, but when it comes to this Super Bowl game, I like Seattle. I think that their defense can harass the young guy a little bit, and I'm going with Seattle in the Super Bowl. I like the way they play. They played the Rams, who are arguably the Rams. A lot of people look at them as the best of those Final Four teams. You know, especially with Denver not having their starting quarterback. So I don't know, man. That Seattle team, man. You know, I didn't think they had necessarily one of their greatest defensive performances, but the quarterback who a lot of people weren't high on, I'm thinking he's kind of hitting his rhythm, not quite as elite as Joe Flacco did when he hit it. We won the Super Bowl, but it appears that this guy Sam Darnold out there in Seattle has hit a rhythm. Early in the year, he was throwing some picks. He was turning the ball over a lot. But I saw a stat that they put up in that over the last 2 years, Sam Darnold as a starting quarterback has more wins than any other quarterback in the NFL over the last 2 years. Minnesota went 14-2 or 14. They won 14 games up in Minnesota, and they ditched him.
Yeah.
So they booted him out. So the guy has been winning. He ain't never thrown into the bunch with the elite, and he shouldn't be thrown in there with the elite.
No.
But he's doing enough right now, and he's in a rhythm. And when you throw in that real aggressive defense, and they got playmakers too, man. And number 11, wide receiver, that boy Walker coming out the backfield. They got some pieces.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. You know, it's gonna be interesting to see, you know, just how this thing plays out, man. I'm excited. Just from a fan standpoint, it's the Super Bowls. You know, we want to see a good game, and I like the way the two teams are playing. You know, I like the way that New England has been playing. Like you said, it seemed like they take on the personality of the coach. Vrabel, you know, like you say, he looked like a dude that's ready to go suit up, like right now. You know what I'm saying? And you remember Vrabel when he was with New England, linebacker. He's the guy that used to line him up and he used to catch touchdowns.
Yeah,
he was Tom Brady's secret weapon on the goal line, or in the red zone for sure.
Right.
I don't know how many touchdowns he caught, but it seemed like anytime he was in the game, I don't see how he went unaccounted for.
It was multiple.
Yeah, because he got a few of them, you know. And if I'm not mistaken, he caught some in the Super Bowl, one of the Super Bowls as well. You know, so he just strike me as one of them dudes, man. Even when he's with Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
You know, his teams were just always tough. I remember they knocked us out the playoffs the one year.
Yes.
You know, Derrick Henry, you know, ran roughshod over the Ravens. And you know, they said, well, in order to stop that, we need to sign his ass. You know, we can eliminate that. We just gonna sign him and bring him on over here with us.
If you can't beat him, join him, as they used to say.
Yeah. Come on over here, Derrick.
Come on over here,
Derrick. You know. So Vrabel, and then like you say, McDonald, man. You know who. You know, I don't like doing the old, you know, looking in the rear view mirror and what we should have did, and what we could have did. If you weren't going to fire John Harbaugh, there's no way you was going to keep him here. as a defensive coordinator when he had an
No,
opportunity to be a head coach. This is not Cleveland,
no,
and
exactly.
nobody is not going to say, "I want that job" to the Ravens. Other than the OC from the Cowboys back in the day. Uh,
Garrett, wasn't it Garrett?
yeah, he's a commentator now.
Yeah,
So
yes,
that tell you all you need to know about his decision making.
exactly.
He not even on the sideline no more. He wanted that Cowboys job so bad, he turned down the Ravens. Thank God he did. Thank God he did because I didn't see that going well. I didn't like him because he was coming from the Cowboys, and the Cowboys haven't been a model organization since they got rid of Jimmy Johnson. You know, and you say what you want about Jerry, and I know there's a lot of people that they hold Jerry in regard. He's the owner, and he did whatever the case, but he got in the way. He kind of ruined, in my opinion, what could have been a dynasty, even bigger than it was. They got 3 out of 4, three Super Bowls in 4 years, and I was just watching something uh, maybe yesterday, over the weekend for sure. One of the former players was on a podcast, and it wasn't one of the more popular players. Uh, well, oh, it might have been Darren Woodson or somebody, but it wasn't like Michael Irvin and none of them guys. And he came in. He came in. Uh, I think he said his rookie year was Jimmy's last year. So the year they won the second Super Bowl was his rookie year, and he just talked about how tight of a ship that Jimmy ran. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah,
Jimmy ran that thing, and he said, Jimmy made the personnel decisions. Nothing was final unless Jimmy said it was final. You know, and he said the stuff that went on at the White House, all that stuff that eventually came out, had Jimmy been the coach, he said that none of that shit would never happen.
hmm
None of that stuff would ever happen because Jimmy ran such a tight ship, and the players had so much respect for Jimmy, and they feared him
you could
in a,
tell.
in a way that's in a healthy way. You know what
In
I'm
the
saying? They feared him.
I agree.
Uh, you know, Again, man, that's just looking in the rearview mirror. What could have been, and we play that game a lot in sports. The coulda, woulda, shouldas. But Jimmy, man, I mean, I just think, when you have opportunity, you got to get the egos out of there. Got to get the egos out of the room. And that's the one thing that I like about Steve Bisciotti as the owner is that he kind of in the background. He don't make headlines. He don't do interviews. He not out here taking credit for drafting this guy and that guy. He kind of put people in position to do the jobs, and they do the job, and that's that. And I think that's how it should be in sports. If you got an owner that wants to be the show, wants to be a big part of the show, that has to be seen, has to be talked about, need to be in the headline. That's a recipe for disaster. And it'll work for a time, but most times not. Look at Steinbrenner with the Yankees. He was the guy that was always in the headlines, and it got to a point where it cost them, where he was out of baseball for a year or two. They say, hey, you got to go take a seat. You what they say now, you're doing too much.
Doing too much. Doing too much.
Somebody need to tell Jerry,
Yeah.
you're doing too much, buddy. But Jerry make the league so much money. You know what I'm saying? The league is going to tolerate some of his foolishness because he makes so much money for the league, and he really introduced a lot of the sponsorships and all the stuff that's going on with the league now. You see the teams got uh they wearing stuff on their uniforms. The sponsors that they got, they never had that stuff on the uniforms and selling the stadium rights and all that stuff. That's all. That's Jerry Jones, man. That's all his doing. He was just showing him how to we can make some more money. Then he built that big old that big stadium out there
Yeah.
in Dallas, and he doing something. He getting money year round. A lot of these football stadiums, man, you kind of limited in what you can do with them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, and then with the location, you got the Ravens Stadium is right next door to Camden Yards, the Oriole Stadium. So even you got to plan events, even if you do out of season events, like if you want to do World Cup soccer or a Beyonce concert or you know stuff like that. You got to coordinate with the Orioles. All the Orioles are going to be in town that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Or that weeknight or whenever.
Right.
And then nobody wants to be down there in this time of year outside for an event. You know, so that's one of the disadvantages of not having the dome on the field. Um, so you're kind of limited to really spring, summer, because then the fall is football season. So you're not gonna have nothing during football season. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
what it is. But Jerry Jones is marketing genius, and he makes a lot of money for the league. But as far as running a team, he wanna
Yeah.
he want just as much shine as Troy Aikman.
Yeah. He doing too much, man. He got an ego. He has a huge ego, Jerry Jones, and you can tell he wants to be in front of the camera. He wants to be on stage. Like he's like P Diddy. Want to be up on stage, want to be rapping, want to be jumping around, all that kind of stuff. And so that's Jerry Jones. The ego but again, when you look at franchises that has done well over the years. And again, we heard Bisciotti talk, and we know that he's been a terrific owner for the Ravens. You talk about Rooney up in Pittsburgh. He's been a great owner over the years, and you see how that franchise has been over the years, one of the best run organizations in all of football. And then you look at the guy up, and this is really something, man. The guy, well, and plus in Baltimore, we do have um, experience with the Irsay back in the day, and how crazy he was with the team, and basically destroyed the Colts and wound up moving out to Indianapolis. But the guy up there in New England, what's their owner name?
Kraft.
Robert
Kraft.
Kraft. And that's another outstanding owner. And I mean, arguably he's right there at the top of the list. And when you look at this New England franchise right now, I mean, this team is really set to compete for Super Bowls for the next several years. When you think about the money situation there, because this quarterback, this is what, his second year. So he's still on a rookie deal. He's on a cheap deal right now as a quarterback. So you talking about being able to. So this is one of the reasons why you like to try to win. If you get a special talented quarterback, you like to try to win during the first 5 years, because these guys are on a cheap contract. And once you pay these outstanding elite quarterbacks their worth, then you got less money to go around to stockpile the team. Now, New England has their quarterback. He's on a rookie deal, and he's in his second year. So you're looking at them having plenty money to go around. They're already going to the Super Bowl this year. Now you got plenty money to keep this juggernaut going. So they're in place right now for another really, really nice run of New England being Super Bowl contenders. And you got to give a lot of credit to Mr. Kraft up there. And I mean, New England's been one of the. I mean, and it's so quick, man. I mean, they had a couple of 4-13 seasons.
Yeah.
And now here they are back in the Super Bowl, man. Kudos to Kraft and the way, they even turned that team around so quick.
Yeah, man. And that's, again, you got people in place that understand the job, and I think, again, that was one of the knocks that Harbaugh had here, man, is that he just didn't have that that feel. You know, it was times again, and I was always a supporter. You know, I supported him when everybody was ready to get rid of him. And he just he had a way of like I used to cringe whenever he challenged the play because he just never seemed to challenge the right plays. He would challenge a play, and it's like, why are you challenging that? I mean, I can see that he's gonna lose it,
Right.
you
Man.
know, and then you lose the challenge and you lose the timeout, and then there was plays where like challenge, throw the flag, and then he done challenge. I mean, you know, so that was the frustration. That was a big frustration with Harbaugh as head coach. Just sometimes having a feel for the games and when to throw that challenge flag, and then we talk about just you know, you talk about and you've been pretty hot, pretty heavy on this with you know him not being a play caller on either side of the ball, you know, and not having that. I don't want to say he didn't have the ability because he's a head coach in the NFL. He knows more football than I know probably in his sleep. But just not being able to say, hey, Derrick Henry need to be in the game in the fourth quarter against the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? So he should be able to override whatever monking rotation, all the excuses they gave us. There is no rotation. Put Derrick Henry in the game right now. And give him the football. I mean, because he was having a hell of a game before that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so it was that aspect for me with Harbaugh. I don't know how much say he had in personnel. You know, when they went to the draft, I don't know how much say he had in. 'Cause I know it's a collaborative. They talk about being a collaborative, and they all got some say.
Sure.
And I know Eric DeCosta has the final say, but you know, I don't know how much say Harbaugh had in that area. And then with the new coach, you know, I don't know how much. Of course, being a new coach, he's not going to have a lot of say. You know, so I'm sure he's going to have some input on, you know, and then he's a guy that's been at the college level, so he'd probably be a little more familiar with some of the guys coming out than Harbaugh would have been had he still been the head coach. But yeah, it's just you know, you see these changes. Again, Cleveland Browns just can't get out their own way. You know, you got guys don't even want the job. You say, no, you know what? I'm gonna stay where I'm at, or I'm gonna just be the OC here or defensive coordinator there, and y'all figure it out. You know, Pittsburgh got a coach, Mike McCarthy. Uh, you know, he's Super Bowl winning head coach in Green Bay. So there's speculation that Aaron Rodgers may come back another year with McCarthy as the head coach. I'm not sure if that's like a thing yet. I know it's been kind of bantied about over the last couple of days since McCarthy got the job. Uh, Again, he was a name that I was not thinking that he would have got that job. You know, I thought Pittsburgh may have went, you know, the young guy, the young route, kind of what their calling card has been. You know, over the last few years, they usually go with a younger coach. Um, you know, Tomlin was a young coach when he got the job. The Chin, what was his name? Prior to Tomlin.
Yeah.
Man, did you
Kyle.
hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. What was that?
Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. You really in the mix tonight, boy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I was trying, you know, I'm over here, you know, what you call it? Troubleshooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over here
Okay.
troubleshooting, man. So
Yeah.
excuse me. But yeah, I was thinking, you know, with
That was Bill Cowher. What's his name?
Bill
Cowher?
Cowher. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Cowher. So when they got him, you know, I just figured they would go young. You know, I figured they would go the young coach route or whatever, and you know, but that was not the case. that was not the case. You know, they got a vet. He's definitely a veteran. You know, so I'm over here troubleshooting and moving around equipment. And,
Yeah, well,
you
you
know,
gotta do what you gotta do in the flow of things. But I agree with you, man. I thought that was not a good hire for Pittsburgh.
mhm.
I was not. If I'm a Pittsburgh fan, I'm not thrilled with Mike McCarthy being hired as the
Yeah,
head coach there. I'm right there with you. I thought that they would go out and get a upcoming younger coach to really put some energy into the franchise. You're looking at uh, they got a 42-year-old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, that it seemed like they begging to come back. You got Cam Hayward on the line. He about 37, 38. I don't know his age. He's up there. What's the defensive end that they got, pass rusher? Um, um, Pittsburgh other brother was a star player
Watt,
too.
T.J. Watt.
Watt, yeah, you got Watt going through all these injuries. He's up there in age, man, and um, so I mean, I'm looking at this Pittsburgh team. Yeah, they were able to sneak into the playoffs and keep winning records over the years, and a lot of that was because of the magnificence of their head coach, able to get more out of what was really there. And so Tomlin's gone. You bring in this guy McCarthy. Okay, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but that was 15 years ago. And I think Aaron Rodgers was his quarterback that
Yeah,
won that Super Bowl. So I didn't like that pick. The fans are pretty much in an uproar up there in Pittsburgh and cussing and fussing about this hire. Uh, but that's the route they went, and I did not think it was a good hire.
yeah. I didn't like that. Well, not that I like it. I was surprised by the hire
Yeah,
of Mike McCarthy up there in Pittsburgh. Um, but hey, I'm a Ravens fan, so hey, you know,
right.
good luck to the Steelers with that. I hope they go, 3-14 or whatever. and they be looking for another coach next year,
Yeah,
that type of thing. Uh, yeah, man, it's just the coaching carousel, man. All these, there's still a couple vacancies out there. Um, but the Ravens got Jesse Minter. So we're going to see, how he puts his staff together. Um, a lot of excitement because it's new, new coach, so it's bringing in new energy to the city. Harbaugh was here for 18 years. I mean, that's a long time to be in one place as a head coach in the professional sports setting. You know, so the Harbaugh regime is over. He's moved on. He's up in New York now. So uh, I would wish him luck, but I'm just not going to do that. Uh, welcome back, Ty. Let me see. Why single out Cleveland? Let me see. People have turned down the Raiders and Cardinals as well. And who said that? Bobby, Bobby C 35355. And you're right.
absolutely.
You're right. But I miss the Browns, man. I gotta pick on Cleveland, man. I mean they are easy mark. And I hope you're not a Cleveland fan, and that you didn't take this personal, you
Yeah.
know, because it's the Cleveland Browns, man. I mean, I'm a sports fan. We sports fans here. We Ravens fans, but we are sports fans. And we see, like Dean gave up some good history there, talking about uh, all the way back to Jim Brown and Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
You know, uh, there's a lot of history in Cleveland with up until they left, up until 1995 when they left there. There's a lot of history there, man, and they were not a bad team when they left. They had some. They were playoff teams up until that point. And they had a young Bill Belichick who, had they not left Cleveland, they may have kept Belichick another couple of years. They gave him a chance to kind of do what he does. And I've heard Ozzie Newsome speak on Belichick and saying that he learned a lot about what he knew about personnel and drafting players and you know monitoring, what do you call it, evaluating players and stuff like that. He learned a lot of that from Belichick. He gave Bill Belichick a lot of credit for the way he did his evaluations of players, coming out of college and stuff like that. So it's Belichick definitely had an imprint and a positive influence on the young Ozzie Newsome, young as an executive. Because when they came to Baltimore, Ozzie of course came with them. He's a Cleveland legend from a football standpoint, and I bet it's got a sting as a Cleveland fan to see Ozzie Newsome have all this success here in Baltimore. Being the general manager, being in the role that he's been in, and drafting and putting together, 2 Super Bowl winning teams, multiple AFC North Division champions. His resume speaks for itself, and I know it's got to hurt, Cleveland fans, man, to see, for one, the way the team left, and we here in Baltimore can relate, having had the Colts, kind of stolen away in the middle of the night. So I get that. I definitely get that. So yeah, don't take it personal, Bobby. I'm not picking on the Browns, but they easy to pick on.
And he's right, man. I'm thinking about the Raiders, and I'm thinking about Al Davis, and I'm thinking about just win, baby.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and that franchise and John Madden over there as the coach and Kenny Stabler and all these great ball players that they had, and Al Davis, man, the guy had some kind of R with him, man, and that franchise was on top of things. I just think that once you take Al Davis out of the equation, and I think is that his son, Mark Davis, that's over
yeah,
there now,
yeah, yeah. That's his son.
it, it ain't the same.
Yeah,
It hasn't been the same. I still think that moving franchises from city to city. I think they would go, LA, Oakland. I don't know how many times they might have bounced back and forth, but I think that has a negative impact on any kind of momentum that you might have. They're in Vegas now.
Mhm.
So, the Cardinals is a team that hasn't really been on my radar, and probably like the like the guy just mentioned, that they haven't been doing that well. So ain't no reason to pay that much attention to that franchise.
Right.
But when you got good ownership, that thing trickles down, man, throughout. And the Raiders had it, they lost it. The Browns had it, they lost it, and the Browns haven't been able to get it back.
Right.
And
Right.
they're probably, even when you throw the Cardinals and the Raiders in there, I still say that the Cleveland Browns is the easiest team to pick on when it comes to this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just think about it. The one thing the Raiders, you know, with all the moves, they moved from originally from Oakland to Los Angeles, and then back from Los Angeles back to Oakland, and now they moved to Las Vegas from Oakland. The one thing that they have, I don't think they've lost a big portion of their fan base, because they were like a national team.
Absolutely.
The Raiders are a team that has fans all over the country, all over the world. So the fan base, I don't think, has taken a hit
I
from the
agree.
movement, but the organization itself has not been able to find footing. And Al Davis in his latter years, he probably resembles a lot of what we see in Jerry Jones, because Al Davis was still, making the draft picks. He still was kind of running the show.
Ego.
And that ego, you know what I'm saying, that I know better than you. You know, and I remember he drafted the what was the wide receiver from Maryland he drafted.
Oh yeah,
He just was blown away by his speed.
because he was fast. Yeah.
But the dude couldn't catch a cold at Maryland.
No.
He was just fast, you know. And
I think it was a quarterback too that they brought in there that was a bust. Their first round pick.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time bust.
Yeah. So I tried to see if we can go live on TikTok. So I don't know if TikTok can hear us. I don't know if they can hear. I see some people that's watching. So if you watch it on TikTok and you can hear me, give me like a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, Bob, it's never personal, man. We just talking sports, man. We having
absolutely
having fun with it. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah,
if you
definitely.
Don't mind. Hit that
we
subscribe
love those
on
comments.
YouTube.
We love those comments. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. Just you know, in it's sports. You know, it's sports, and again, the Raiders are, you know, to the NFL, they are one of those the handful of teams that just move the needle. And the NFL probably is better when the Raiders are good,
sure,
than when they're not. You know, so the Raiders are a historically good team. You know, the Cowboys. You know, and that's why they so easy to pick on.
Yeah.
You know, the Raiders, the Cowboys. You know, the Steelers. You know, historically good. 49ers. You know, and I think the Raiders are probably more popular worldwide or throughout the country than the 49ers would be. I think. I think the Raiders are just one of those teams that
I think so.
You know, they just gonna move the needle. Again, if you tuned in on TikTok, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me talk. If you can hear both of us talking, you know, I'm just trying something. Just a little mid show playing around with some stuff. You know, I'll just say I'm trying to see if I can make something shake here. But yeah, man. Hey, what's going on? Improve daily. So yeah, so
okay, thumbs up.
You watching on YouTube. So I know the sound is good on YouTube.
YouTube good.
Is it,
yeah, Facebook
YouTube
back?
is good. Nope, Facebook is still acting up.
Okay,
so still giving me out, you know, still not letting me log on for Facebook. So we live right now on YouTube and Instagram through our regular streams, and then I got TikTok up here on my phone. You know, and I plugged it into my little board here. So just want to see if people on TikTok can hear. You know, they may be able to hear me, but I don't know if they're able to hear you. Just because I got you linked in through the through the board.
Okay.
But nonetheless, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, and you know, one other thing I about those Raiders. One thing about the Raiders and their popularity is, I mean, even when I was a young guy, you know, I had Raiders gear. You know, and the Raiders gear has always been popular throughout the Black communities. There's a hip hop connection with NWA being so popular out there on that West Coast, and they all had their Raiders gear on, and that thing permeated throughout the nation when you come to the hip hop world, the Black, the Baltimores, the St. Louis's, the Philadelphia's. Everybody, you know, was wearing that gear, and it's a connection. And that black and silver, man, had a serious connection, and still today, you know, you still see people rocking that Raiders gear.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, to see, I mean, it would be good to see the Raiders, you know, back on top or back in the conversation in a positive way. again, man, I think it all just comes down to the owners. You know, like say with Jerry Jones in Dallas and Mark Davis out there with the Raiders. You know, they just not getting it done. You know, they're just not getting it done, man. And you know, there's no guarantees in anything. The cream is always gonna rise to the top. You know, so like you gave shout out to Bob Kraft up there in New England. Again, man, Belichick had his time there, and sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is to move on from somebody that you've had great success with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the NFL of all leagues is not set up for dynasties. You know, the NFL model is kind of set up for everybody to kind of have a shot at it. If you manage well. You know, if your organization is run well and managed well, the way the NFL is set up for everybody to kind of have a shot. And so, you know, you get a team like the Ravens who are in the playoffs more times than not. You know, you get an organization like Buffalo who are pretty much playoff contenders every year. Just haven't been able to get over the hump. Uh, you know, name a team. You know what I'm saying? New England had a few off seasons since once they got rid of Belichick and you know, changed coaches. They had Mayo last year. And he was only there 1 year, didn't work out. Um, and then they bring in Mike Vrabel, and in 1 year, you know, he got him in the Super Bowls with a lot of the same guys that was there last year.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know, so again, man, there's no guarantee to anything. You know, you got to have the right pieces at the right time. Things
Yeah.
got to shake your way. You know, injuries don't help. You know what I'm saying? And you know, here in Baltimore, we saw the Ravens kind of deal with the injury bug, man, pretty much the whole season. You know, so let me share this with you because I this may bring a smile to your face, and I don't know how true this is or not, but I was reading somewhere where it said that Ofalele is a free agent and he's very high on John Harbaugh's list of potential free agent grabs for the Giants. You know, now, I don't know I don't know how happy you are to hear that. You know, because
Might be a
I know
lot
he
of
was a
Ravens fans might be thrilled.
yeah because I know he was not a popular Raven throughout this season, especially here on the Sports Mix. You know, and he was not somebody that you know, as Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson said, you know, he didn't even call him by name. He just said, you know, 77 is always at the scene of the crime.
Right.
You know, whenever something bad happening,
Yeah.
because Shannon Sharp was talking, he said, who you talking about? 77? You know,
Yeah.
and Sharp said, man, he too big to be that sorry.
And man, and then you look at that. You look at a Harbaugh saying that this guy is high on his list.
Hmm.
That's like Brian Billick saying that Kyle Bowler was high on his list.
Wow.
You know, you got these coaches that wind up sticking with players too long. In fact, Harbaugh to me was guilty of sticking with Flacco too long.
Yes. Yes.
And then ultimately they wind up bringing Jackson in there to finish up that season with the phantom injury that they threw on Flacco. So and these, to me, these things are so important, man. That's like having a feel for the game. There are people that have a feel for the game. They know who to substitute, when to substitute. They know how They know who should be starting and who should be coming off the bench. It's just having a feel for the game. I don't think that John Harbaugh had that tremendous feel for the game, and I don't think he really had a feel for the game because he wasn't really into the nuts and bolts of it. And even then, maybe you can still have a feel for the game, but I didn't think that he had the feel for the game. When you're with a franchise, and we're talking football now, you know it's a momentum building kind of thing. And it's
Right.
from year to year to year. You're building momentum to get your team to that Super Bowl. And if some things go off to the right or off to the left, I mean, it can really set your franchise back and can really kill your momentum. We
Yeah.
talked about the Raiders. The Raiders were really starting to build their team back, and they had John Gruden in there as a coach, excellent coach, and they was moving in the right direction. And then that stuff came up about Gruden. I don't really know all the details of it, but he wound up getting sent off the team, and that's a momentum killer, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
and these kind of things you can't allow those things to happen. And a team like the Ravens most certainly can't allow that to happen. And I throw Pittsburgh in that realm too. You
Mm-hmm.
can't allow that kind of thing to happen because I say that the Ravens and the Steelers have to deal with what I call PTS, uh, playoff team syndrome, where you got these teams that's in the playoffs every year almost, which means you're not getting high draft picks. You
Right.
drafting 30th, you're drafting 27th, year after year. And then when you have that success of being in the playoffs, then your coaches are picked. We've seen it over the years. The Ravens coaches have always been snatched
Yep.
and going to another franchise. So
Yep.
your coaching becomes a picking ground for other teams, and then even your players themselves, they can command a high salary. So you can't keep a lot of these players once they get to the free agency. They're gone to other teams, and so you can't afford to have these things happen to you that messes up with your momentum. So
Right.
when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers side of it, to me, the thing that killed their momentum was the fact that they drafted Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge swing and a miss on drafting a first round quarterback that you think is going to supplant a Hall of Famer, Roethlisberger. They missed a big
Yeah.
miss. And it's been trying to get these guys, trying to do this, trying to do that to fill that quarterback position to where now they got a 40 something year old quarterback, so that has messed with their momentum. When you look on the Ravens side of it, to me, Harbaugh is there. I don't think that again, I don't think that he's that technician, and he's not, his attention to detail as far as different things on the field, I don't think is there. We see he struggled with keeping timeouts and poor judgment on red flag calls, and then also not having that feel to see that Derrick Henry ain't in the game, which was so obvious to everybody watching,
Yeah.
but not obvious to the head coach. Things like that makes a difference. And I still say, when you, as a head coach, when you step into a game and you already down 3 before the opening kickoff,
Yeah. That's
I have
bad.
a problem with that.
Yeah.
And I
That's
and I
bad.
think that Harbaugh fell into that category too many times. It's not like that against everybody that the
Mm,
Ravens will play.
mm.
But once you start getting to the playoffs and all that stuff, then that stuff really becomes a factor. You can't go into a playoff game down 3-0, 4-0.
No.
That's no good. And I think that was happening with the Ravens with Harbaugh. And so these are the things, and to me, that's the reasoning that a Steve Bisciotti can let a Harbaugh go, and because he knows that the window there, when you got a talent like Lamar Jackson, he knows that there is a window. The guy was getting a little beat up this year,
Yeah.
and that raises a flag like, hey, we need to protect this man better, and Lamar Jackson has a window. And if Harbaugh hadn't done it in 8 years that he had Lamar Jackson, it was time. And
Yeah.
I commend Bisciotti for making that move. Some guys would be afraid to let a guy go who's been there for 18 years, and it's been kind of smooth sailing with all of the setups, and he John Harbaugh is a great orchestrator when come to practices and all this kind of stuff. But to get over that hump, the Ravens needed something, and I thought that they certainly took a step back for sure this year, and even previous year. I think it was a little bit of a step back that Bisciotti felt it, and he felt it was time.
Yeah. Well, and this is a win or get fired type of job. And like I say with Harbaugh, man, he got more than his money's worth. Dude, 18 years, and I think he left with some money on the table.
Right.
He got some money walking out the door. So he did his 18, and again, man, he got a Super Bowl out the deal. He went to the AFC Championship 4 times.
And we commend him.
Yeah, for sure. Great job.
Yes.
Much respect. But it was time. It was time. It was time for him to move on. And it, he went on and what more can you say? What more can you say?
And I don't even want to say how many points we was down to Andy Reid when we played in Kansas City. I mean, we go into those games down to Andy Reid. We go in there down to Mike Tomlin. I'm talking about these kind of coaches. We go in, down in points, and even Rabel when he was in Tennessee. I think he's an excellent coach. I think those guys have an edge over Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm a franchise today and I'm looking to build a team and I need a head coach, I'm not hiring a Harbaugh. I'm not hiring a McCarthy. I'm not hiring Jim Schwartz and some of these older guys. I'm looking for the new, the fresh, the energetic that can infuse some energy into the franchise. And I'm not against the older OG coaches. I'm not against that, but just a personal opinion. If I'm building a franchise, I want somebody with some juice. And I think that a lot of the Ravens flock, are not familiar with Mentor. But I think that Mr. Bisciotti made an excellent choice with this guy, and I think we should go in 100%, all toes down with this guy, because I think that I think he's a real good choice. And let's see what happens.
Yeah, we definitely gonna see. Once again, I just want to shout out everybody that's tuned in on TikTok. I don't know if they can hear me over there, but I see there's a few people flipping on. So I got the phone pointed at my screen here. But there's no volume.
Okay.
So I don't think they can hear, because I don't think I got volume coming out of the board here. But I just wanted to try something different. Since this Facebook stream is not working this evening, so we're missing our Facebook audience. Which
Wow.
is but we've been getting a lot of hits on YouTube, which is good.
Yeah.
YouTube people been checking in, interacting with us, which is good. I think I'm just on some old, we usually go live on Tuesdays, usually a Tuesday night thing. And the snow day, I initially I wanted to go on live during the day while the sun was up. But snow had to be removed and shoveled, and cars had to get moved and that kind of thing. And had to take care of that business just in case they wanted me to come to work tomorrow. Thankfully, they allowed us to work from home tomorrow, which
Okay.
I don't know. let me not say that on live. I'm gonna just move on to the next thing. Coming to the stage right now is our local Hall of Famer, Lenny Moore. Brother, what's happening?
You snitching on yourself, Kenny?
I had to catch myself.
You better watch your mouth, boy.
Yeah,
Watch your
I was a
mouth.
little too comfortable. I got a little too comfortable. Let me pull back.
Be careful.
I don't know who's watching.
I was going to say they might be tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
So Glenny, were you able to do your you did your show this evening, right?
I did mine.
Yeah, I'm not able. I'm Facebook is not letting me get on live on Facebook for whatever reason. I don't know if I'm suspended on there or not.
Yeah, talk about your job. They suspended you.
Well, we are live on YouTube and we live on Instagram, IG, and I got my TikTok here, but I don't think we got volume on TikTok because I just got it on my phone. So, but it's all good. We've been chatting it up a little bit. You know, we talked about the new hire. Let me get his name right, Jesse Minter. For the Ravens. I didn't call the man Greg. I didn't call the man. I didn't call him like 2-3 different names. But he is the head coach, new head coach of the Ravens, former defensive coordinator with the Chargers, who are now in Los Angeles. It's still hard for me because I still want to call them San Diego Chargers, but you know they are the LA Chargers now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talked about the Harbaugh connection, which, you know, I don't know, man. Them dudes they made men. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you get in with the Harbaughs, you good.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't working for one of them, you can work for the other one, and then you can get the other one's old job. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, one of them going to the Super Bowl.
Jesse?
One of them going to the Super Bowl. So
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Man, he worked for both of them. Goodness gracious.
yeah.
What is going on? What is going on? He did work. We talked about that too, didn't we?
Yeah.
His connection to both.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow. So what's your thoughts on Mentor, Glenny?
You know, I told you guys I wanted an offensive guy, but I'm okay. I'm okay with this because I think the mentality is they want to go back to that old Ravens defense, that old Ravens football defense, run the ball, and I get it. We're in the North, man, and that's the way the North play.
Mm-hmm.
So having a defensive-minded coach, I'm okay with that. But offensive coordinator, they haven't selected yet, correct?
Right.
Correct.
I think that's important. I think that's important, but I'm okay with Jesse Minter, his background, you know, the cloth that he come from. He's pretty solid. You hear nothing but good things about him. And I think without that defensive stance that we have taken over the years, it just haven't been there. We need that back. Yeah. We need that toughness back. We need that smash mouth football in your face in the winter months where we competing, man. And it just haven't been that way over the years. And I think it's mainly because we have an MVP quarterback, and I get it. But I don't think that's Ravens football. I think that Lamar could take us over. I think we could win 2 to 3 Super Bowls if our defensive side is solid. With his play, we could win 2 Super Bowls easy. I mean, easy.
Mm-hmm.
And especially on the AFC side, Kansas City is done. I just think we've been dominating with a pedestrian defense. Imagine us having a solid defense. So I'm excited, man. I'm okay with it, man. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So wait a minute. Did you just say that Kansas City was done?
Yeah.
Like a fork in them done.
Yeah, I think their reign is done. We've seen it over the years. They may come back in a couple years and retool, but
yeah,
I think we're built. I think the Ravens way, we're built for Super Bowl. I think we are, man. We just got to get that defense stout again. You know, we put no pressure on quarterbacks. We put our defensive backs in a bad place, and I just think we need to retool on defense, man. We need some players.
Yeah,
we need some players.
They got to get a pass rush.
Yeah,
got to.
The pass rush is horrible. I don't think the DBs are bad.
No,
they're not as bad as the pass rush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't expect the DB to cover when they're not getting no pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even the play against Pittsburgh, where the touchdown that eventually won the game, where the DB slipped. I mean, he slipped. You know, that happens. But Aaron Rodgers was sitting back there, wasn't really getting pressured at all. You know what I'm saying? And he's a guy that kind of understands coverage, and he understands when the blitz is coming. So he's gonna get rid of the ball. You know, but we didn't make him work hard at all. A 42-year-old, you know, Hall of Famer nonetheless. But we just didn't put enough pressure on him. And again, that's the knock on, from my perspective, for the Ravens. The offensive line and defensive line were the problem areas for this team. You know, they the injury bug, of course, you know, we had problems with the injuries, but you know, we talked about Falele. So I don't know if you saw what I saw. That he's a free agent, and he's high on John Harbaugh's list of free agents to take up there to New York with him. And I don't think it's going to be much resistance or disappointment from Baltimore Ravens fans if he goes to New York. I don't think, you know, some players they're gonna get a little upset about, because I heard Likely and, you know, a couple of other free agents that he got his eyes on, but you know, we can't keep everybody,
right?
You know, so we're gonna lose somebody. We understand that's just part of the business. But with 77, if he goes, there's not gonna be a sad face in the city or the county or the surrounding counties.
Hey, if he'll come to work, we fine with that. But not you, Kenny. Not you, though, Kenny. But if he don't come to work, we all right.
Right. They already done retracted your Facebook rights. I'm in trouble. I think, you know, and it's interesting. You mentioned that offensive line. And we all know throughout the year we've been having trouble with that offensive line for Lele and what's his name, Voorhees, and some of them guys. It is interesting that, you know, with Denver, you saw, you know, Ben Powers on their offensive line in this AFC Championship game. You saw Morgan Moses on the offensive line for New England. So here you got two guys that are starting with other teams, and then, you know, you can talk about the Zeitlers and the John Simpsons and these other guys who are out there starting on other offensive lines. And I think that was a major blunder on Eric DeCosta's part by not, you know, fortifying that offensive line after you let 3 starters go on one off season. That to me, that was a crazy move, and it has come back to bite the Ravens. Then you look at this guy again, Mentor, coming in, and he was defensive coordinator with San Diego or with Los Angeles Chargers. And you see, and I know a lot goes into this, but you see the difference of production of Owe and Zach Orr's defense versus Owe and Jesse Mentor's defense. I mean, the guy was over there. I mean, in the playoff game, the guy was a beast. He forced a couple of fumbles, a couple of sacks, tackles behind the line of scrimmage. And I know once he went to the Chargers, Owe started balling, man, like 7.5 sacks or something over the last few games. And so, you know, Mentor coming in, obviously he seemed like he has a way. I've seen him talking to guys, man, talking about these details, man. I mean, minute details, you know, on defense, on how you should be standing and how you make your body skinny as you trying to get between it. I mean, he was breaking some stuff down that you would never hear John Harbaugh say, because it ain't in John Harbaugh's bag. He don't have that to give. So rest assured, Baltimore Ravens flock, we got a good one here. We got a good wait and see.
So, Jesse, Greg, John, Mentor, you've been endorsed. Dean Randolph has endorsed Jesse, Greg. I mean, I don't know how many names I done gave him tonight, but
well, you ain't called him Jesse Jackson yet, so you know. I don't know what this world is coming to.
Well, he got to make a name for himself. We got, make a name for yourself.
Y'all know Baltimore Flock was saying the same thing when he hired Harbaugh.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
A special teams? What?
Yeah. 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 What's he going to do? You know.
Right.
What's he going to do? Well, you know.
You gonna call him Mr. Jesse soon, Mr. Jesse.
Mr. Jesse.
Yeah. Now, the difference. Harbaugh came in here. He still had, Ray Lewis, Suggs, Ed Reed. He still had them guys around who were very big personalities in that locker room and very influential guys in that locker room. And now Jesse's coming in. Jesse Mentor's coming in. He's got Lamar Jackson as the big presence in the locker room. Now he's not a Ray Lewis. He's not an Ed Reed type. Lamar doesn't strike me as a loud guy, the rah-rah type of guy. He's more of he says what he needs to say. I think the team respects him. When they had the situation with the locker room with the video, with the ping pong tables and all that stuff, and Lamar said, "Get that stuff out of here," and so he showed some leadership in different ways. He's not the same type of leader as those guys. Hamilton. I see they just brought in the DB coach from Notre Dame. Is going? Is he going to take the same role here, or is he going to be taking on another role on the defense? Young guy too.
But I just saw that they brought him on. I didn't see.
I didn't see his role.
Right.
I didn't see what role he's going to be, but I know he's coming over, and he, and I believe he's familiar with Kyle Hamilton. So again, Hamilton to me is the type of guy that could be a defensive player of the year. He's got that kind of ability and that type of his game is just that. And he's the guy that, the other team is always trying to account for where is he at? Where's 14? Where's 14? So with I saw that that of course some of the guys from the Chargers that are free agents. You're gonna see that. I saw that Khalil Mack is a free agent.
Oweh.
Oweh could be a possibility.
Free agent.
So I guess I don't know. I know they got to get Lamar Jackson straight. As far as getting that restructured and getting them re-signed, and I'm sure they're gonna get that done. And then you got to make sure you got room for your draft picks. You got to make sure you got money to sign your draft picks. And there are some free agent holes. They got quite a few guys that they're going to either re-sign, or they're going to have to let go. And I thought that
Linderbaum.
Yeah, Linderbaum is big.
But
I thought them re-signing Andrews when they did was a sign that likely was done. I don't know that they're going to re-sign Likely. Because Likely is a younger guy. He's probably going to want a couple dollars. He's probably gonna want some money, and somebody with his production, even though he had some drops and he had some plays where you kind of could go against you. But Likely is a younger tight end. He can make plays. He's got some speed. He's gonna command some money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they bring him back. But if I have confidence in nothing else, I know the Ravens always draft tight ends well. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's going all the way back to Heap.
Mm-hmm.
From Heap to who was Flacco's favorite target? Pitta.
Pitta.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Pitta. I mean, they've always had decent to fairly really good tight end play.
Ozzy.
Ravens.
That's
Yeah, Ozzie
Ozzy.
Newsome. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
you got a
Ozzy.
Hall of Fame tight end, so he knows what a good tight end looks like. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so even if they have to let Likely go in free agency, I'm confident
Mm-hmm.
they will fill that void either probably through the draft, and they probably already got their eyes on somebody you
Mm-hmm.
know as we speak, which was probably why they went to sign Andrews. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because the timing of that when they re-signed Andrews, that was like what, November, December.
Early.
I just thought it
Yeah.
was strange.
It was real strange to me
I
early.
thought that was
When you were
strange, but it just to
Mm-hmm.
me it just and it came. Didn't that come right after the fumble?
likely
Or was it like, yeah? Was it when he dropped the touchdown in the end zone
somewhere
against
somewhere
Pittsburgh?
around that time, a little
I know it
after that.
happened either right before that or right after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just the timing of it to me just seemed a little strange.
Seemed
But
seemed like it seemed like it was an emotional reaction
yeah,
when they signed him because I did not like that signing. I thought it was premature. I mean, even if you eventually do re-sign Andrews, I just thought signing him early was just out of place. I'm thinking you wait later on, you still got this all-pro center that you want to sign, and your offensive line is kind of in shambles as it is. So I'm thinking Tyler Linderbaum is a priority, but you go and give this money to Mark Andrews, which I'm not so sure. I think if you look at Mark Andrews and you take away the historic value of him, fan base value of him, of what he's done for the franchise over the year, I think if you take that and set that to the side, I think that you don't sign him. You probably don't re-sign him. And I still think even the catch that Likely made in the playoffs to put us in field goal range for Luke to kick the field goal, Mark Andrews ain't making that catch. He's not going to make that catch that Likely did. Likely went high in the air between two defenders, and he's done that throughout. The talent is real with him. It's just sometimes you have to kind of keep him, straight, keep his head straight, and these fumbles and stuff like that came back.
He just hasn't done it as of late over the last year. So.
And he's coming off of that broken leg and all that kind of stuff. I still think the signing of Andrews was a little bit premature. And I say even if you were going to resign him, you didn't have to go and do it in November or whenever it was that you did it.
I think they got something up their sleeve. I think they did it for a purpose. I think they did it for a reason. That reason I don't know, but like you guys are saying, that was weird at the time. I said, huh?
Yeah.
Because we were debating the Likely and all this stuff at the time, and they signed them. I think they did it for a reason. Now you got a new coach. Who knows what direction he gonna go in or his thoughts on it.
Very true.
Yeah, so you gotta your screen is blank, Dean.
My screen is blank.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Just can't,
Okay.
you got.
I thought he was hiding from his job.
I see myself on the screen right alongside all y'all. I see myself.
Your screen blank.
Well, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah. So I'm about to look. I'm just playing now on my phone. I'm gonna just go live on Facebook on my phone. I don't think they're gonna be able to hear us though. But I'm just hey, I'm having fun. Cause we typically don't do the show on a Monday night. This a snow day edition.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all hear that there are fans now boycotting the Pro Bowl because Shedeur Sanders was selected to replace one of the quarterbacks that's still in the, I think replacing May from New England at the Pro Bowl.
They're gonna actually do a boycott for that.
Their fans are now saying they're gonna boycott, because Shadur Sanders is
I didn't even know fans were still watching the Pro Bowl.
Right, I haven't watched it.
I mean, is it even a game? They do like some flag stuff out there
they
now.
do flag now, yeah.
Shador can't win, man. He just can't win, man.
He can't win.
Can't
It's
win.
his daddy's fault.
Yeah,
It's his
Deion.
daddy's fault. See what happened when you present in your child's life and you build them up and you give them confidence and you let them walk out to the world.
Right.
Don't be afraid of nothing and stand on your business. And now if Shador was out here robbing, stealing, and cutting up and had a whole bunch of baby mamas, boy, he'd be the most popular thing on.
Yeah, right.
They love him.
They love him.
But he got a little too much confidence. He got a little too much, what they call it, swag these days.
Mm-hmm.
A little too much. He a little too much like his daddy.
Yeah. Chip off the old block.
Yeah. I ain't mad at him.
Not at all.
Now, Glennie, the my subheading for this show, I don't know if you can see it. Cleveland Browns can't get right. They've had coaches to say, you know what, I'm good. I don't want that job. And I had one of the fans that for checking in on YouTube, Bobby C355. I think he kind of like, why are we picking on Cleveland? They're not the only team that had people turn the jobs away, which is true. But this is Cleveland we're talking about. Cleveland is always fumbling the ball. And prior to you coming on, we talked about, just last year with they had 5 quarterbacks in training camp
or more.
Right. They draft. I mean, 2 of them that they drafted. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in the last draft. They signed 2 free agent quarterbacks. 3. They signed 3 free agent quarterbacks. Pickett, Flacco, and
Huntley was there too.
And Huntley was in there late, but he came in training camp nonetheless with Cleveland.
And don't forget about the massage guy.
And they still got what'd you call him?
The massage guy.
Deshaun Watson. They still got Deshaun Watson on the roster. So that's 6 quarterbacks. I mean, come on, Cleveland. Come on, man.
Stefanski should have just rolled the wave, man, and just put Shador in and rode that wave, man. I mean, that was the spark that I believe could have changed the whole year for them, man. He just was hard-headed. I just think he made a mistake with that. He should have put Shador in much earlier, man. He should have rolled that. He should have rolled it, man. I think that was his answer, and he blew it.
Yeah. They are not happy that he's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They are not happy about that. I was like, man, they are not happy about him taking that job. And they got a good young quarterback. The lefty. He got injured.
I like him.
Yeah, he got injured this year, but he's a good young quarterback. What's his name?
Is that Penix?
Yeah, Michael Penix. Penix, yeah, from Washington, University of Washington. Good young QB. So, we're going to see. We're going to see. And we know Atlanta is not one of them teams where you can go down there and get comfortable. You're going to have to show them something. Home Depot guy, what's his name there? Arthur Blank. You're going to have to show him something. He don't mind pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So he will fire you if he don't like what's going on down there. So, good luck to him. That's all I can say. Good luck. Again, I ain't wishing you but so much luck, but good luck. I'm with the home team. Ravens, Baltimore. through and through. You know, so man, you know, it's Super Bowl. I think all of us kind of picked New England. And who did you pick? Did you pick New England, Glenn?
I had New England, but I had the Rams.
You had the Rams. That's right. You had
Yeah.
the Rams. Yes, I know. Me and Dean, we had New England and Seattle. And I was surprised that the Rams Seattle game. Excuse me. The Denver New England game was as good as it was because of, Denver's playing with a backup quarterback.
Mhm.
They hadn't started a game in like 4 years. You know, so he played much better than I gave him any credit for, and it was a good game all the way to the end.
Well, defense played good.
Yeah, it was a good defensive game.
Yeah, they covered him.
Game.
They covered him.
Yeah, it was a good defensive game. But he got I think his first drive, first two drives, he drove him down. He got a touchdown out of the deal.
Mhm.
So he didn't stink to join up.
Mhm.
You know, he didn't stink to join up. But shout out to the Patriots and the Seahawks moving on. So we're gonna have 2 weeks
Mhm.
in between. So it's gonna be a lot of, everybody is hopeful right now. Both fan bases are hopeful. They're gonna be talking smack. It's us, and then 2 weeks from tomorrow, 2 weeks from yesterday, somebody gonna not gonna be so happy. Somebody gonna be having tears, and gonna be a long off season. I just wish it was us.
I tell you what, the playoffs have not been disappointing.
Nah.
We've been getting some good football, guys. We've been getting some good football throughout the playoffs. I'm happy with that. Now we're looking at a possible Cardi B Super Bowl. Cardi B. Yes. Mr. Cardi B Diggs.
Right.
So the camera's going to be on her big time.
Is she carrying his baby?
She already
had that baby.
She already had it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, he had a couple other babies, didn't he?
I think he got about 6 or 7. I don't know how many baby mamas he got.
I know he had a paternity thing that made the news a couple months ago. Hey, put that thing away, man. Focus on catching that football, y'all. I'll be focused on the wrong thing out here in these streets.
Yeah, well,
out here in these NFL streets. His brother's a free agent.
Okay.
Trayvon Diggs. Dallas cut him. He signed with I want to say Green Bay.
Green Bay, yeah.
And they cut him. So and I liked him. When he first came in the league, I thought he was going to be a star. Cornerback, man. I don't really know if he's dealing with injuries or if his skills are just fell off that bad or what. But he's a Maryland kid. I remember it was a big deal when he went to Alabama over Maryland. They thought that what's the coach down there? What's Maryland's coach name? The head coach of football. They thought he had an opportunity to bring him in, and wasn't able to pull it off. Mike Locksley. Yeah. So Diggs could be somebody you might take a look at, far as some depth in the defensive backfield. Whether, I don't know if he still got cover skills or not. Maybe he can be safety. Help Geese play some dime or something. But the Ravens got to get that pass rush together. That's got to be A1 pass rush. And what y'all think about Roquan?
His time is up. His time is up. He's not the lead I thought he would be. He was on fire when he was with the Bears, and the first year, maybe even the second year, he did well. But it seemed that he declined, man. They need probably for him to flourish, they need that D line intact because that will protect him. But his style of play was exposed for the last 2 years. So it's either they're going to have to stack that D line or Roquan not built for it. You know, they expose him, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked bad. I mean, he just looked slow.
Yeah.
He wasn't tackling like he was when he first got here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't, I know, man, he's still a young guy. I don't even think Roquan is 30 yet.
No, he's
He's
not.
like 28, 29. I mean, but he's not an old guy.
No.
And he looked real good when he had Queen next to him.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's one of those guys that needs support.
Yeah.
Stack that D line.
Yeah, and I think, and for me, when I look at Roquan, am I still talking from the darkness, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, I am. Okay. All right. This is the voice.
Incognito.
Yeah, from the darkness. Yeah, I think that Madubuike being injured was a big loss for the Ravens on that D line.
Yep.
I mean, he was a guy who was able to pressure the quarterback from the interior. He was a guy that commanded double teams. So when you look at Madubuike and his neck injury and being pulled from the lineup, you see the impact on the edge guys. Oway couldn't get to the quarterback. What's his name? Van Noy wasn't making no noise getting to the quarterback. And then also you got Roquan without a real high quality defensive line in front of him, as Plenty pointed out. So I think that Roquan can be okay, but I think that defensive line was just not right. It was just not there. And when your defensive line ain't strong, then your linebackers going to suffer. And then you look at the guy they drafted from Clemson, never turned out to be what they thought, Trent Simpson. Simpson on one side of him. I think Roquan still has a place with the Ravens, but I think that those pieces, that defensive line, both lines, just got to be built up and got to be able to. And then when I sit back and I look at the Rams playing, I look at Seattle and I look at Denver. I mean, them guys are like all over the field. You know, these guys, they're secondary. Their guys are close. They deflecting passes. They coming up. They physical. They fast. It makes me look at the Ravens, and I see Starks running across the field, looking like he, running the 4.9 or something in the 40. I don't know, man. When I look at these playoff teams, the physicality is there. It's reminiscent of some of the previous Ravens defenses, and I really don't see that physicality in the Ravens right now, defensively.
Yeah, another thing, man, the Ravens defense is definitely not feared like it was once upon a time.
No, that's gone, man.
Nobody is afraid of the Ravens defense. And to see teams running the football on the Ravens like they do, and the tackling is horrendous. You know what I mean? I mean, you see them guys, man, they might have somebody stop, look like for a loss in the backfield. And then it ripped off, 5 to 7, 8 yards just because they couldn't tackle them. I mean, you got them stopped, but you couldn't bring them down, man. Again, man, we keep bringing up, Ray Lewis, because they set the standard so high. The standard was set so high, man. And I hear these guys talking. I watch a lot of podcasts and I see a lot of these interviews. And there was a former Ravens player. I can't even remember who it was, but the guy that had played, he was here within the last year or two, and he talked about Zach Orr and Zach Orr being a player here and but understanding the standard. It's like, yo, when you walk into that building, you have to understand the standard is high. You got the Ray Lewises and the Suggs and the Haloti Nadas, Peter Bull. I mean, all of the names that set the standard and set the tone. Ed Reed. That's a lot of pressure. So the expectation is that you come in here and you're going to fall in line with the standard. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't fall in line with the standard, then you're going to have to go play somewhere else. And for whatever reason, be it Zach Orr may not have been the right guy for the job, you know,
Mhm.
and him not again because we saw Oweh struggle and really since he been here, and then he goes to San Diego and he, you know, well, excuse me, the Chargers did not San Diego, but he went go see the Chargers, and I think he had 4 sacks his first game.
Yeah.
Like the first game out there, he had like 4 sacks. So you wonder, was it that the coordinator wasn't up for the job?
Well, let's be clear. He's now he had a formidable line, defensive line, and with the Chargers. So he had Mack, he had Boza. He had a formidable line with him. So that's the difference. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
So that's why I say we gotta load that defensive line and start there for our guys to strive.
Yeah, so I'm looking at John Harbaugh coaching staff. So he doesn't have an OC yet. He has Denard Wilson as his defensive coordinator. Dennis Johnson, who was here with the Ravens, he's the defensive line coach. Charlie Bullen is the outside linebackers coach. Matt Pease, well, I'm assuming is related to Dean Pease, is the assistant linebacker coach. And then there's Chris Horton is the special teams coach. On offense, he has Willie Taggart as the running backs coach and Tim Kelly as his tight ends coach so far. So that's how Harbaugh's staff is looking so far. You know.
And Denard Wilson was Ravens' former secondary coach, and he wound up going to Tennessee as their defensive coordinator last year, for the last couple of years, I think. He left when Anthony Weaver left, when Mike McDonald left, and when Zach Orr was named as a defensive coordinator. So, so he definitely got Harbaugh ties.
Yep. What you got here, Glenn?
Oh yeah, just a shameless plug. This kid, I know the kid I promoted last year, and he got signed by the Vikings. But this kid, Eric Hunter, he might get drafted. He played in American Bowl this weekend, and he looked like the leader of the team. So he was playing with guys from Florida State and all this, that, and other. But he's a Kyle Hamilton type. And he had a strong game, man. So I think this kid, I'm saying his name now, I believe he's going to be drafted, Eric E40 Hunter. He's been a bad boy over the last 3 years for Morgan. But look out for him in that draft, man. And I would not be surprised if the Ravens pick up somebody like him. But he's a Kyle Hamilton type linebacker.
Okay. So Eric Hunter, E40.
Eric E40 Hunter.
Okay.
Morgan State.
Yes.
Morgan State. So let's go. Let's hope this young fella get an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
In April. You know, when the draft hit. You know, of course, got Combine could also give him a boost.
Yeah, he's been killing them. He's been killing them all. He's been making the All-Star games, those big schools he playing against. He's standing out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
That's great. Great. Good for him.
Yeah, so I'll be looking. Keep an eye on that.
And them scouts, they see that. So
Yep.
you're probably right. This guy will probably certainly get drafted.
He was the only HBCU defensive player in the game.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's saying something.
Yeah.
That's saying something there. I like it. I like it, man. Good luck to him.
So speaking of this guy, you know, being out there and being available to the draft, as we know, typically the Ravens are drafting 27th, 30th, and all that kind of stuff. They have the 14th pick. We know the last time we picked that high was Kyle Hamilton. was selected as that 14th pick. And not only on the first round did we got the 14th pick, but it goes right on to the next round. We're picking 14th, so we're picking higher than we've picked in a few seasons. With that number 14 pick and the Baltimore Ravens, you up in there with DeCosta, with Mentor, with Bisciotti, with Ozzie. Who do the Ravens pick? What do they address first? You got the 14th overall pick. Who do you select? And I know it has something to do with who's available and all that stuff, but in a perfect world where you can plug something right away, who do you pick with that 14th selection?
You ask me, I think they already know. I think that room, the Ravens room, draft room, I got full confidence. I don't doubt them at all. I believe Ozzie, all of them doing their homework, and I know they're going defense. I think they're going to stack that defense, and they're going to address that line. I think they already got it mapped out. I'm telling both of y'all. They know what defensive lineman they're going for. I think they already got it. They know, and y'all surprised me when y'all said Mac is Khalil Mack is a free agent.
Yeah.
They know how to get guys like that, in the tail end of their career and rejuvenate their careers when they come to the Ravens. Look at Van Horn. What's his name? McCoy or Van?
Noy.
Look at that, man. Yep. As old as he is, he's been playing extraordinary over the last couple of years. He's probably been the best, close to the third best defensive player on the team.
And he said he want to come back.
Yeah.
Right.
They brought Clowney in.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd brought him back.
Yeah, they know what
I
they
like
doing.
Clowney, man.
Clowney, something, man.
Ravens know what they doing.
I watched Kyle Van Noy did a live, or he posted a video on his page the other day, and he was in the car, and he was saying, hey, I just put my house up for sale in Baltimore, and just moved out, put everything in storage. Don't know what the next move is, but it's the business. So I like Baltimore. I wouldn't mind coming back. He definitely made sure he said that. But he said he understands the business. So whatever's next is going to be next for him. But he definitely wants to play next year. And he also said that he's realistic about players of his age. He's going to have to wait. They're not going to be running out to sign him the first day of free agency.
Right.
So he might be somebody. He might have to wait till May or June. So, but he's clear about that. He understands the business part of it, and he's probably somebody that's not going to look for a whole boatload of money. Fair, he gonna want to be paid something fair. He want to be compensated fairly, but he's not somebody probably gonna be looking to get, to break the bank at this stage of his career. So again, like a Van Noy, a Khalil Mack, who Khalil Mack can get to the quarterback. He can stop the run, and he still look like he got some mileage left. And him and Roquan played very well together with Chicago. I truthfully was surprised that Chicago let both of them guys get away from him. And they were relatively young guys at the time. I think Mac is a little older, but I just was surprised that they ended up parting ways with both of them. When they did. But yeah, man, it's Eric. We talk about him here a lot. Eric DeCosta is on the clock. And we are watching very closely how which way he goes with this draft. Because the funny thing, every year after the draft, you get the Mel Kipers and the Todd McShays of the world, and they always grade what the Ravens got. The Ravens always get a good grade after the draft. Always get a good right after the draft. They always get a good grade, but we need to come back and grade them guys. 2-3 years later, and let's look at some of them drafts, because I know Dean, you did a real good job a couple weeks ago breaking them down about the misses. Some of the misses that he had in the second and third round and fourth round. you know, guys that just didn't work out. You know, so Eric DeCosta,
Probably for the
his
last 2
season's got to
years.
be hot. Yeah.
Probably the last 2 years they haven't did well.
Yeah. Now, but again, after the draft, they always grade them an A minus.
Yeah.
You know, but we need to come back and see what after a couple years, and let's look at the production. And I don't think the grades will be that high. You know,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think DeCosta is missed on a few. I mean, even when you go back to, you know, DeCosta in his first, I think it might have been his first draft, and he selected, you know, Hollywood Brown with his first number 1 pick as a receiver. And in that same draft, you know, you had DK Metcalf, and you had the boy Brown that played for Tennessee and up in Philly. And it was another top flight receiver. And all 3 of those guys had done better than Hollywood. And, you know, Hollywood had trouble getting off the line, and, you know, they had to put him in motion and different things like that. So, you know, and even if you go through some of the other draft picks, I mean, even when you look at the guy they selected in the 3rd round from LSU as an offensive lineman, and I know he came into camp and he was hurt, but then he got healthy and he played 1 game, and then he couldn't even get in the lineup. And we talking about an offensive line with Falele and with Voorhees in there, and they couldn't get the guy in the lineup because Harbaugh said that the other guys are playing better than him. I just don't know how you pick an offensive lineman in the 3rd round, and he's a young guy, and you got some guys who are struggling. I just don't see where you can't get this guy in there for some reps. He ain't good enough to get any reps. You know, the guy that was out there playing wide receiver for the Rams, what's his name? Naku? What was the number 2? Number 12.
Yeah, he's tough.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. Now the Ravens were supposedly in line to select him.
Yeah.
He went something like in the 5th round or something like that. He won a super high draft pick, but the Ravens were in line saying that they thought about drafting him on this pick, and they drafted a cornerback. I think he come up out of Washington, and I wish I could remember his name, but I watched a preseason game, the first preseason game, the second preseason game they had, and I looked at that guy that they selected, and I'm telling my son, I said, this guy is not an NFL player. I'm like, look at this dude. He is not an NFL player, and they wind up cutting that guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, making errors like that on draft picks when you draft somebody and they can't even make the team, you know, and I'm saying, you know, just from my eyesight, this guy's not an NFL player. I mean, I don't think you can make those mistakes. I don't think you can allow your offensive line to fall to the level that the Ravens offensive line fell when you have a talent like Lamar Jackson. He's your guy. He's the one that you just threw all that money at. And you mean to tell me you let 3 guys go in 1 year and then you replace them with these substandard guys? You can't do that. You can't do that. And I point the finger at Eric DeCosta on that.
Yeah. He got to take the blame. He got to take the blame. He's sitting in that hot seat.
And I think Bisciotti put him on a hot seat too. In his speech that he gave, press conference he held, he sort of came out and he said, "Yeah, Eric knows some of the mistakes that he's made." I think he called him E. E know the mistakes that he made to put John in a precarious predicament. So he sort of put him out there, and I think he needed to put him out there because I think Eric DeCosta took a lot of blame for this Ravens team, taking a couple of steps backwards the last couple of years.
Yeah, he has to. He has to because they surely prop him up when things are going right. And
So I'm still in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all can't see me sipping on what I'm sipping on. Is that right? Okay, all right.
Dean, what's in the dark always comes to light. What's in the dark always comes to light. Watch yourself.
Yeah. You got the black screen. It's like you a star witness. You in the witness protection program.
Okay, witness protection. Yeah.
You know. Yeah, we gonna let you testify from behind this curtain.
Did y'all talk about the McCarthy deal with the Steelers?
Yeah, we mentioned that. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. To be quite frank with you, man, a lot of these coaches are successful like him, man. And we give him a hard time.
Yeah.
I think because of all those, top players he's had over the years, and just wasn't able to do it other than the one time with Aaron Rodgers. But his record is impeccable. His record is nice. And now, is he a Steeler guy? I don't know. I don't know.
See that.
Yeah, I don't know. But he got the resume, my brothers. If he put his resume, he tearing a whole bunch of people up. He outdoing a whole bunch of people. But is he a Steeler guy? I don't know.
Yeah, I and this talk that Aaron Rodgers may come back since he came since they got him. So
that. Come on, bring him back. Bring him back. That's 2 wins. That's 2 wins for us.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I heard that. You know how it is. It's not confirmed. But it's Aaron Rodgers gonna wait till May.
Yeah.
Make a decision. He's so arrogant. He gonna wait till after the draft. And Pittsburgh better be in the business of drafting a quarterback in the first round. First 2 rounds. They need to get a day 1 or day 2 quarterback. They don't get no 3rd and 4th day quarterbacks, no projects. They need somebody that's going to be the quarterback of the future, and they need to start grooming them. Now I'm not don't mistake. I'm not a Steelers fan by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if they're going to be about the business of winning, they better get a quarterback. Because you can't keep going to the you can't keep going to the the junk pile and getting quarterbacks.
And that's who McCarthy won his Super Bowl with, Aaron Rodgers. So, they may be in a reminiscent state of mind right now and thinking about bringing this guy Aaron Rodgers back.
That was 20 years ago, Dave. That was 20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago, man. You gotta go way back. Again, man, I'm just not. If I'm with the Steelers, I'm just not interested in bringing in this old guy. And now you talking about bringing this old guy Rodgers back as quarterback. I think the Steelers need, to be infused with some young energy. I like what the Ravens did. You got a old school OG John Harbaugh going out, and you bring in this young dude coming in. I like the fact, he's 42 years old. And to me, I think that's what I actually thought that the Steelers might hire Anthony Weaver, to come in and bring in that young energy. But they went with the older guy. I don't like that pick for the Steelers. I mean, I like it as a Ravens fan, but as a Steeler fan, I don't like that pick. I think you need some new energy in there. And to me, I still say that Mike Macdonald is the prototypical new template for coaches. You grab these young guys. In fact, I heard that Cleveland was interviewing the young, I think he's an offensive coordinator under Sean McVay. Young brother over there that's the offensive coordinator. They're looking at him in Cleveland. They're still talking to him. But one thing about a guy like him, that's his 2nd year coaching. And the games that I've seen, it looked like McVay is calling the plays.
Yeah.
So it didn't even look like he's the play caller there. But I didn't like that. I didn't like the McCarthy thing, man. And if you look at the response from the Steeler Nation, they are highly disappointed
Yeah.
in that
Mhm.
joint. Yeah, they are making
I've
a
heard that
lot of
too.
noise about that.
Now, I saw that Cleveland was flying out to LA to interview the Rams coach. Was that over the weekend, right?
Yeah, what was
So
that
they had
game?
a game yesterday.
You
I
remember
think
that?
it was Saturday
Yeah,
that they
they
were supposed to be flying out.
played.
But that also brought them into compliance for the Rooney Rule. They gave them their second minority interview. So I think that probably was just a token interview. He ain't gonna get the
ain't
job.
ain't that sad though, man? 2026. You still gotta have a rule to force these owners to just interview somebody that's non-white.
Yeah, ain't that so?
Ain't that sad?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pathetic, man. And the league, we're talking about a league that's like 75% black.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They can be part of the ingredients, but they can't mix them up.
I mean, that. Come on,
You can't
man.
be the chef now.
Man, that is sad, man. That is my. What color is my screen right now? Black. That is a black eye for the NFL. That is
Yeah.
a black eye, two black eyes for the NFL. That you got to have a Rooney Rule to make them interview somebody that's non-white. Wow.
Yeah, that's Cleveland though.
Yeah. Well.
That's Cleveland. They can't get right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cleveland Browns can't get right. But you know what? And a couple years ago, Glenny, man, we did a whole show on the Rooney Rule. We did probably about a whole 2 hours talking about the Rooney Rule and how
Yeah.
ridiculous it was to have to have it in the
Yeah.
first place, and it says more about the state of America, in my opinion, than it does about the whether guys are actually qualified to do these jobs, man. It just when we still talking about people getting jobs because they only got that job because of this or that,
Mhm.
and you got to prove your worth. That whole we gotta work 2 and 3 times harder, and probably even more than that, just to prove your worth. And people just kind of discount your ability to do certain things based off of their insecurities. It's,
Mhm.
it's it's just a sad state of affairs that we have, man. And you go to NFL again. There are no, well, I guess you call females or minorities. You got a couple females that are in ownership, and that's based off of being in the family, if you
Mhm.
will. They didn't put a package together and go buy a team. They were kind of handed the team. I know the Colts. Ursay's daughter is now the owner out there, and
Mhm.
with the Colts. But you don't have any minorities in ownership positions, and that 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 network of owners, they're so tight knit about who they let in.
Yeah, they tight. They are
And
tight.
it's almost like if we let the wrong somebody in, the gig gonna be up.
Mhm.
It's almost just like you live out in Hunt Valley, and what you thought was an exclusive neighborhood, and here come uh here come old Bob, and well, not Bob, but Leroy and his family coming on out to Hunt Valley. They done moved on up,
Mhm.
they ain't playing. They not an Oriole. They ain't Al Bunbury or Ken Singleton, who is safe
Mhm.
to live in
Right.
that
Mhm.
neighborhood. And
Mhm.
then you look up, all the houses going up for sale. Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
Mhm.
And it just amazing to me that like you say, in 2026, this is 2026. Sometimes, I mean, we all we all are in the same age range. It sounds crazy to me sometimes to say 2026, 2000 and anything. You know, because we and I had a client of mine that kind of laughed. He got the biggest kick out of this, man. When he asked me how old I was, I told him, 50 whatever I was at the time. And he said, man, he said, you was around in the 70s? Well, first he said the 19. He said, you was around in the 19? I said, yeah. I said, I was born in 71. He said, man, you was around it. I said, yeah, man. But he's 20-something years old. So he was born in the 2000s. So he don't have a clue. You know what I'm saying? So it seemed like I was born in the ancient times for him.
You were in slavery.
Yeah, he might have said 1870, 71.
Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman.
Hey, I walked the Underground Railroad, son.
Sometimes they be showing some little, some clips on there. My son would show me something on his phone. He'd be like, man, look at Mike. Look at Michael Jackson, man, doing the robot and all that, man. Dad, you saw him when he did that?
Yes, sir. He was
Yeah,
doing it right with him.
I saw him. Hey, man, Dad, you old, man.
Well, think of the comparison also. The comparison they just put out there, I've seen it on social media, how they called in. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Y'all can tell me. They called in for Phillip Rivers.
Buffalo.
For a position over guys that are proven like Leftwich, who's a proven commodity, But they call in Phillip Rivers.
High school coach.
Who was coaching high school. Yeah. And they called him back to be a quarterback. And he started the game this year.
He did.
Or a couple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if we put Mike Tomlin to the side, let's put him to the side for a second. When you think about Black coaches in the NFL, who name some coaches who's had some longevity as a Black coach in the NFL. How long the guy in Atlanta lasted? How long did the guy in New England last? Who out there has had some kind of tenure as a quarterback in the NFL if you're Black?
Yeah.
Can we think of anybody? I mean, Dennis Green might have coached for some years.
Yeah, Dennis Green had some years. Tony Dungy.
Tony Dungy is another one who's had some years.
And he got the big one. He was able to cut the nets down.
Who was?
Lovey in college now, right?
Yeah,
Lovey Smith. He's another one, had a few years in the NFL.
This probably was the Bears' best year since they fired him. This past season.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I know the guy in Atlanta might have got a year or two. What was Raheem?
He
Raheem Moore. I knew he wasn't gonna last with the name Raheem. I said, he ain't last. No. I'm shocked that they hired him.
I don't know, but he in Atlanta though. That might work in Atlanta.
Yeah, it might work. That's what they thought. They're like, yeah, it's the only place for Raheem, Atlanta. Put him in Atlanta.
What's the name out there in Houston? Ain't doing bad.
Yeah, he hanging in there.
It was his third or fourth year.
Yes,
he been out there a couple years.
Yeah. Highly disappointed in the way Stroud played in the playoffs.
Yeah. Stroud, that might not be good for him.
No.
Stroud didn't look good, so they might. We got to fire the coach.
Right. Yeah. Nico, his name Nico, right? Nico. Yeah, he's out there. Yeah. So I guess you had the Tony Dungy's and the Dennis Green was there for a while, and y'all named somebody else that did pretty good.
But look how far you gotta go back. So Dennis Green, man.
Yeah.
Dennis Green haven't coached in a long time, and he passed away too.
Dennis Green gone. He done checked out. Yeah. He exactly who we thought they would be.
Because he coached at Arizona after he left the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, and that was a job nobody wanted that. That's the Cardinals was one of them jobs
They
nobody
still
ever
don't
wanted.
want it. They still don't want it.
Still don't want.
Still, you know, and the Cardinals, man, might have they got to the Super Bowl when they had Anquan Bolden and what's the receiver?
Mhm.
Other receiver,
Yeah, he a Hall of Famer.
lost to the Steelers.
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald, you know,
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry,
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Kurt Warner.
They had a couple good years then.
Hmm.
Yeah, man, it's wow.
Yeah.
Cardinals.
Well, you know, you say Tony Dungy did win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, he won with
Yeah.
the Colts.
He won
Yeah.
it with the Colts, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He should've
He
won
had,
with
he
the
had the
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers on the
should've won
road.
with
He
the
had the
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers on
he
the
should have
right
won.
there.
Yeah. They pulled
And
him
they-
out of that
they-
position, and
When
Gruden stepped
they
in.
brought Gruden
You know how
in,
they,
and he won it the first year.
you know how they do it. You know how they do it in the movies when the man is out there and he's acting, and the big scene ready to come up, and they say cut, and they bring in the stunt guy.
Yeah.
That's what they did with Dungy, man.
Mhm.
Dungy had them on the brink. They did the same thing with Mark Jackson at Golden State.
Oh, yeah.
You know, same thing,
Mhm.
head on the brink, and then they shut him down. You bring in Gruden, and you bring in what's the guy that's still out in Golden State, their coach.
The one who great fight, Draymond.
Yeah. Former was balling with Mike Jordan and them, and then he also
Steve
with
Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff Murray 6229. Thanks for watching. Be sure you hit that subscribe button over there on YouTube. Says Jared Mueller reported that both Udinski and Schalise would not accept Schwartz as the DC and wanted to bring in their own people, Jimmy Buck. So they're both out. Yeah.
Wow.
And I heard something from Schwartz today, basically saying he wants to be the head coach.
He wanted to be the head coach.
He wanted to be the head coach over there in Cleveland. And you know,
Wow.
I'm not so in tune to what's going on in Cleveland that I'll give a damn. You know, I really don't care what they do out there. I hope they get it wrong again. You know,
Yeah.
and be looking for another coach in another couple of years. Let me see. Keisha
I'm talking about-
Posey, 1413. Welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Some of the ATL say Kevin taking them to the Super Bowl. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna find out. Stefanski. You know?
Yeah.
So Keisha Posey, are you a Falcons fan? You know,
That's a good question.
let me see. Are you a Falcons fan? So no, Glenn, I know you got a role.
And you,
Any parting words before you depart this week?
So when we are we making our predictions next week or what? What we doing?
Yeah. Let's marinate it on the full week.
Yeah, let me sit on that because I sure enough doubted the quarterback for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But yeah, let it marinate. And are May and them ready? Are the Patriots ready? So, and we got to check to see if Cardi B got another album coming out. All these decisions got to be made. We got to consider everything. Come on, y'all. We got to consider everything.
Yeah.
see
Who
Cardi-
performed
Cardi-
at the halftime show? Was it?
Yeah.
the
We're
Puerto
going to
Rican guy?
halftime show.
The Puerto Rican guy, they made a big stink about it.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah. So he the halftime show.
Who is it?
Bad Bunny. So go ahead and
Okay.
get some wings. Go get something to eat and go to the bathroom. No, I ain't going to doubt. He might tear it up. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't know nothing about it.
You got him on your playlist, don't you, Kenny? You got him on
No,
your
sir.
playlist.
No, sir. I got a lot of Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson on mine.
Yeah, he ain't bumping Marvin Gaye and them guys. Sorry.
No, indeed. No, indeed.
All right, man. Let's hook up next week and we make those predictions, man.
Yeah, get them predictions ready next week. Man. See you next week, brother.
Coming to the finality. All right, Hall of Famer.
All right, blackout.
Peace.
We're gonna get that fixed too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that
Yeah.
fixed, man.
Yeah. Okay. Keisha say she's not a fan of ATL, but used to be a fan of Dallas. Tyler Jerry, but loves Shador. Hey, we talked about Jerry a little earlier. I don't know if you was watching.
Yeah,
And it's probably a lot of Dallas fans that's former Dallas fans
I
because
right,
of Jerry Jones.
and I think a lot of them thinking the same way she thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's speaking for a lot of Dallas fans with that comment.
Yep. Now, as a former Dallas fan, what need to happen for you to go back? And have you picked up another team? I know you say you love Shador, so I know you can't be a Cleveland fan. That's gotta be torturous on you. You can be a Shador fan, but to be a Browns fan got to be hard. But did you pick up a new team in the process of dumping the Cowboys?
Yeah, you ain't loving the Ravens? What's up with the Ravens? You love the Ravens?
Yeah, come on to Baltimore.
Right.
We got Lamar. I know you
Yeah.
like Shador, but I like Shador too.
Me too. Me
I'm a
too.
Shador fan as well, but only when they're not playing against my guys, the Ravens.
Yeah.
And we see Shador. We're gonna have to see him twice a year now. But yeah, it's I like to hear from former Cowboys fans just to kind of get a feel for. One of our resident host, CB, is a long suffering Cowboys fan, and I he's good about it. He's good about it. He takes when we get on him about it, he real he's good about it. He don't take it personal because he understands.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
understands, but yeah, I just like to hear from people who were Cowboys fans to kind of you know where you are now with your fandom. I see you still a football fan, which is good.
Hmm.
You're still a football fan. You're still watching NFL games, so that's a good thing. But who are you loyal to now? Where do your loyalties lie?
And
And if you took them to Cleveland, just God bless you. You know,
and,
I'm gonna
and
say that.
one thing I remember from back in the day. Of
Mhm.
course, I've been on top of the soil for quite some time now. Is that the the female interaction, the female fan. If you go back years, especially when we're talking about the Baltimore Colts, there were not a lot of female fans. You didn't see a lot of females at the games. You didn't, it just wasn't that female connection back in the day. I do remember going, to the club in DC on a
Mhm.
Monday night. There was the Classics was out there. It used to be banging on Monday night, so I'm going out to the Classics, expecting to get up in there and have a good time. But the Washington Redskins at that time were on Monday Night Football, and let me tell you something, man. The club was still packed,
Mhm.
but no one was on that floor dancing. They all were looking at the monitors, and I mean, the Classics was always jam packed with, with
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
females, and that blew my mind. That blew my
Yeah.
mind. I'm like, wow, the DC females were way more into the Redskins than Baltimore was into the Colts.
Yeah.
And but now, over the last couple of decades, 15 years or so, the female fan is certainly there, and big droves, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing to see. It's a good thing to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw the spike with the Ravens fans, as far as females, once they won that Super Bowl, the
That
first
will
one.
help for sure.
When they won the first one, I started to notice a lot more females taking
Hmm.
interest in the team and following the Ravens and buying the
And that was
gear
in
and all that stuff.
2000. That was
And that was
20,
2000.
26 years ago. Yeah.
Yep. So Keisha said she just supports Shador, not a Cleveland fan, which is thank God for that. Um, don't like how Kevin did him. Yeah, they did him dirty.
Hmm.
Jerry need to sell Dallas and let someone actually run it. I'm looking for a team. Well, you're looking for a team. I don't know where you're from. Ravens. Ravens for sure. We always take on good football people. You know, come on, join the Ravens bandwagon. And just let me just say this for people that's watching. You know, my co-host is in a black screen. Not because he's hiding from somebody, but he having some technical difficulties over there.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So I don't want y'all to think, that hey, what's going on with the co-host? Why we can hear him but we can't see him.
Yeah, that
So
you got somebody on here that's what, DEI or something.
yeah, so he ain't in no trouble or nothing.
Right.
He ain't running from nobody.
No.
He ain't supposed to be at work right now.
I ain't under witness protection or anything like that. So
So yeah, yeah, thanks for tuning in, Keisha, for real too. Hit that subscribe button.
Good comments, real good comments. She's on point. You can tell she's knowledgeable about the game, but I will tell her that when it comes to trying to get Jerry Jones to let somebody run a team, you can forget that.
Because he already said
that dude's ego,
going until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, that dude's ego, man, is off the charts.
Yeah. Well, Dean, you didn't spark some nostalgia with this next comment. Damn, Killer Rob checked in. Said, yeah, you bringing back memories, yes sir. The classics on Monday night.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Chili Rob was sitting on the side talking to each other for about a couple of hours till that game went off.
Yeah. Yeah. So the game go off about what, 11:30? Back then Monday Night Football started like 9 o'clock, didn't it?
9 o'clock, yeah.
So it might have been closer to midnight.
Yeah.
Well, that's right when the party should be livening up anyway.
Well,
Now, were the parties better when the Redskins won, or did it matter? It didn't matter if they won or lost.
No, absolutely better when they won.
Yeah.
Because if they over there watching that game and them Redskins doing what they need to do, they ready to come swinging it. They ready to swing it.
Yeah,
they ready to come twerk before it was a thing called twerking. We ain't have a name for it.
Yeah, well, they was doing it.
Yeah, but they didn't do that when they lost.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Probably a lot more drinking when they lost too.
Yeah, it was
heavy drinking, a lot of shots.
Yeah, a lot of shots, man. Hoping that Doug Williams and the team could turn it around.
Damn. Took it back.
Yeah. Memories, man. We gotta thank the Creator for giving us a memory.
Oh, for sure.
How important is a memory?
For sure.
Wow.
For sure. And some of those times, just in sports in general, just you talking about being at the club on a Monday night. I don't want to say how old you were back then. But we know clearly, you're not gonna be in nobody's club on a Monday night at this point.
No. No, sir.
We know for sure.
No, sir.
There ain't gonna be no clubbing on a Monday night now.
Yeah.
No matter how hot the club is.
You when you 22, 23, 20, you can go with no sleep.
Yes, sir. or a little nap during lunch break.
Little cat nap or something.
Yeah, they hold you. Now, I need that 6 to 8.
I wish I had that energy, man. Right now, I wish I had it.
Yeah, man, I need that 6 to 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
I need that. As a matter of fact, I didn't have to work today. I got up at the regular time, a little before the regular time. I said, "Wait a minute, this is too early to be up, and I don't have nowhere to go." I went on back to sleep. I forced myself back to sleep.
Yeah.
I forced it back. A lot of times I try to go back and can't.
Mm-hmm.
I forced myself to go back today. I said, "Nah, you take your ass back to sleep." This is ridiculous. You know, because you're gonna need that rest when you gotta get out there and hustle and tussle with that snow.
Right. Chili Rob, you missed this snow, man. You down there in Georgia, man. I know you missed this snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot, they be getting some down there now.
Yeah, ain't that crazy?
Oh yeah. Everybody from up here, all the people from up north that moved down there, they brought the weather with them.
Yeah, and typically when we get these big storms, is usually coming up that way from the south.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, shoot, but you know, talking about the 80s, you know, and we, you know how we do, man. We get the reminiscing and talking about the good old days, and you know, thinking about like you brought up Doug Williams. You know, we talked about the DEI stuff. Well, they don't call it DEI in the NFL. What do they call it? The Rooney Rule.
yeah,
You know, NFL coaches this time of year, you know, the organizations got to do so many minority interviews of minorities, you know, to be in compliance with the Rooney Rule. Rob said, "I do not miss the snow, but we had a battle with a little ice down here, and these people can't drive at all." Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure of that.
right,
Yeah, I'm sure of that. And they'll be saying the same thing.
right.
You know, they can't drive. You know, when you get a little bit of something down there, boy, it shut the whole city down. Everything shut down.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Florida and they were supposed to get some flurries,
Mm-hmm.
and the uproar down there, how excited they were and everything. I was like, wow. A lot of them said they had never seen snow in person before.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring your ass up north. You'll see some.
Yeah, we can take some of it back with you.
Take it back.
Put it in the freezer, put it in the chest, you know, the ice box in the car.
Right.
You know, take it on back with you. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, talking about, you know, like you say, this from you talk about Doug Williams won the Super Bowl with the Redskins in '88. And, you know, he was one of very few black quarterbacks at that time, and he was the first to be a Super Bowl winner, you know, as a quarterback in the NFL. And you look at the league, more than half of the league has black quarterbacks as starters now. And you know, it's a lot of them, not only starters, but a lot of backups as well around the league. But we still haven't closed that gap in the coaching enough to where, you know, like you said, you still got to have a Rooney Rule just to get an interview. You know, I just don't know, man. I don't know that the people that's in leadership are progressive enough to look beyond just whatever that thing is in their minds, in their heads, man. That have to, that make them have to be in control. And if we give this up, you know, we be giving up whatever. And I don't know if we'll ever get to a point, but I've lived long enough to never say never. You know, I know that you can never say never with a lot of these things, but it's just you know, thinking about, like you say, '88, Doug Williams is the Super Bowl winning quarterback, and to look at where we are now with you know, starting quarterbacks in the league, more than half the league has starting black quarterbacks. We come a long way in that respect. Yeah, Rob said DC party like it was 1999. I'm sure DC parties, and you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure they still partying like that. I don't know because I ain't been, but I'm sure they still partying like that.
Yeah, it's been a few years since I've been over there too, and you know, I always got to shout out Rob. You know, Rob took me for the first time to my first DC experience. You know,
Yeah.
So you know, Rob showed me how they do it in the district,
Well,
and I was always up for that ride. When he called, hey, you trying to go over? Yep.
and you know, like it was mentioned a little earlier about the magnificence of having a memory.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, when it comes to that guy, my my memory banks, boy, probably half of them are filled with memories of flowing with him. So yeah,
Yeah.
so the beauty of having a memory, man, the magnificence of it. I mean, you can't even really find the right adjective to describe, man, having a memory. That's why when you see somebody who's suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, man, it's such a sad thing because you recognize that the memories is not flowing like it's supposed to. And how do you live without a memory?
Right. Right.
How do you function, man? What happens, man, when your memory of your grandparents and your memory of your parents and all the great things you've done, if that's gone, how are you? How are you operating?
Yeah.
You're not the same person.
Yeah.
You're not the
Yeah.
same person at all. So
Shout out to Neil checking out on IG.
yeah,
Traffic be like gridlock down there when you get a little weather.
yeah. Neil and Uncle Rob gonna have to teach them how to drive. You know when it when the road's a little bit slick. They need some pointers.
Yeah, you gotta help them out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
But you're right though, man, about that. I mean that Rooney Rule thing, man, is I mean, and it's a society thing, man. And then when you talk about the quarterback position, you know, that position was so protected. It was so guarded as far as keeping it exclusively white. You know, the guys like Warren Moon had to take it on up north. Had to go to the Canadian Football League for 5 years, where he destroyed that league and then came back and still put some big numbers up in the NFL. You know, a lot of guys that were quarterbacks. I mean, even in 2018, Lamar Jackson coming out, they still talking about a running back. They still talking about having him trialed as a receiver and different things like that. So this quarterback position has been so protected because they know that it is the pretty much the leader on the floor, on the gridiron. He's the leader, and it's such a highly regarded position that you know, typically when we get in the door on anything, on any business, on anything, it's a progressive work towards, you know, the top, or you know, moving up slowly. And when you look at the NFL, they retarded our growth in the quarterback position harder than any other position. You started seeing the great running backs. You can go back in time, Marion Motley and some of the great running backs of yesteryear, and great receivers. But the quarterback position, that evolution for you know, for the black quarterback was very, very slow, and that was intentional. And I think you mentioned a little while ago that there's a lot of black quarterbacks in the league now, and so you know, just you know, give thanks to the Doug Williams and the Tony Banks and some of those guys that broke through, you know, back in the day. We had to, you know, give a shout out to them guys. I know I'm missing. I mean, there was a guy that played for Pittsburgh. He was from Baltimore, Joe Gilliam. He was battling Terry Bradshaw back. He was very close to being a starting quarterback. He was a starting quarterback there for some weeks. He could have been part of that juggernaut Steeler team, but it turned out to be Terry Bradshaw. So it was a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of guys that's kind of lost in history that we need to probably, you know, blow the dust off their name and give them a shout out.
Vince Evans.
Vince Evans. Another one.
Shaq Harris.
Yeah.
What was
James Harris.
James Harris.
James Harris.
Man.
Howard University. Those guys.
Yeah.
I think they said Marlon Briscoe might have been the first black quarterback in
Denver Broncos.
So yeah, so it's a lot of guys who really and it was a lot of guys who could have been quarterback but wound up, playing other positions, and some of that stuff probably need to be aired out and talked about a little bit more.
Hey, oh, excuse me. That was a big one. Yawn. I mean, then you sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Caught me. It couldn't. I was trying to say something.
Right.
Yawn said, "Nah, let me come on out of there first."
Mm-hmm.
But
And
yeah,
we,
man, we see now the football season is winding down. We shifting over into basketball starting. But we could do little specialty shows, man. We could talk about the black quarterbacks, and really highlight the James Harrises of the world, and did those guys really get the opportunity that they should have? You know, um, and I think James Harris ended up working with the Ravens for a little bit when they first came here.
I think so.
He was real close with Ozzie Newsome, and I think he worked in the front office with Ozzie in the beginning, in them early years with the Ravens. Um, yeah, but I remember watching Vince Evans play. I remember him being with the Chicago Bears for a while, and then he
I
moved
think
around
he
a
was
little.
number 8. Wasn't he number 8?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was around like in the 70s, the late 70s into the 80s.
Yeah.
I think he played into the 90s if I'm not mistaken. 'Cause I want to say he played with the Steelers too at some point.
Yeah, it's possible. He
Yeah.
hung around. I know he bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, I know he bounced around a little
I
bit
think he's, like you mentioned, he did his best work probably with the Bears.
with the Bears. Yeah, 'cause I remember having a football card,
Yeah.
a Vince Evans football card. This back, this definitely in the late 70s.
He might have played with the Raiders too for a
Yeah.
couple.
It was the Raiders. It wasn't the Steelers. It was the Raiders.
Raiders, yeah.
The Raiders. Yeah. Yep. Old Vince Evans. So, well, I think we did good.
I think so.
We had the early start tonight. Snow day in Baltimore. We generally go on Tuesday nights. We went a day early just to take advantage of the
Right. That weather.
the snow day, and
School closings and work
clothes, yeah.
closings and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so we was able to take advantage of that. Got here, man. Oh, still almost 3 hours. We 2 hours 53 minutes and counting.
That's how we do.
Yeah, just chopping it up.
Just go with the flow.
Had a few new people checking in on YouTube. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all hit that subscribe button while you're over there. Super Bowl is set. Seahawks, Patriots in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday. So we'll see. Two first-time Super Bowl coaches. Mike McDonald, who we know well here in Baltimore, and then Mike Vrabel. Former Patriots player, so he have opportunity to be the first to win a Super Bowl as a player and as a coach for the same organization. So there's that aspect of it. Looking forward to good game. I just want to see a good game, man. I don't care who win it. I hope it ends in a tie or something. I don't really care who win at this point. Ravens got a new coach. Jesse, Mike, Greg, Mentor.
Jesse, that's right.
So we got a new head coach, and I guess over the next few weeks we'll start to hear who the staff. The big thing everybody looking for, who's going to be the offensive coordinator.
Right.
That's kind of the next hire. Everybody's looking to see who's going to be
Absolutely.
Lamar's next offensive coach to kind of take him to the next level. He's in really the prime years of his career at this point. We know Lamar needs to restructure that contract, and so we definitely keep you up to date with the Ravens news and Super Bowl stuff coming up, and Shador Sanders and done shocked the world. He done pissed off people. They boycotting the Pro Bowl now because he got named to the team.
Ain't that
You know,
crazy?
yeah, they boycotting the Pro Bowl. How about that?
Mm,
You know,
mm.
this is blasphemous. You know, blasphemy, man. You got this kid. He played what? He started what? 5 games.
Right.
And he made the Pro Bowl. This is blasphemous.
Blasphemous.
I ain't watching it. I
Right.
ain't watching it no more. So Keisha Pose, if you still watching, are you gonna watch the Pro Bowl? I know you said you was a Shador fan. Are you gonna watch the
Shador.
Pro Bowl?
Right.
You know, you gonna support that young fella. So the Pro Bowl should be this week then, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
So the Pro Bowl is usually the week before the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, they do a little
know.
flag football and some of that
Yeah.
stuff, which I'm
Yeah.
glad they changed it. I still haven't watched it though. But
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I think I might have watched it one year just because that was the only thing on.
yeah.
And you know. But it's
next week, Sports Mix crew, we gonna be looking for what your picks are in that Super Bowl. We're looking for who you think gonna win, what you think the score gonna be, because we gonna let y'all know what we think too next week. We holding back right now.
Yeah.
As Big Kenny said, we letting it marinate, and next week we're gonna drop it on y'all. So we're gonna be looking for y'all giving us y'all choices too, predictions.
Yeah, and my co-host probably won't be in the black screen next week either.
Yeah, I'll be off witness protection. I'll be back, and so no worries.
Yeah, you'll get to see who he is. You know, he ain't be hiding next week.
Right.
You know? If you go back and look at the start of the show, you could see him.
I made it. Yeah, I was early.
Yeah, you know. So if you go back and look at it on YouTube,
I went out.
Yeah, he's on there.
Yeah.
Up close and personal.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get a bird's eye view of the legend. You know, and yeah. So we wasn't on Facebook tonight. Something whatever the Facebook feed out. You know, I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah, a lot of craziness.
We definitely missed Landon. You know, and his commentary.
Don't talk too soon. He might drop something real quick. You know, Landon.
Yeah, because especially if he the court y'all talking about DC and partying.
Oh man. and if he would have caught this blackout I'm dealing with, I know he was gonna have something on that.
Yeah, he'd have something to say about that. He definitely would have something to say about that. So Adam Schefter is reporting that the Commanders are finalizing a deal to hire Vikings defensive passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach Devontae Jones as their defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Jones has been one of Brian Flores' most trusted defensive coaches in the past 3 years, and he also has coached under Vance Joseph and Mike Zimmer.
So he's going to the Commanders?
Yep.
Okay.
So he'll be the new DC in DC.
Wow.
Hey, how about that? The new DC in DC.
NBC, right.
How about that? So congrats on to Devontae Jones, the new defensive coordinator in Washington. And I am not familiar with that young fella, so you know, I don't have nothing more to add to that other than what I just said. So yeah, but we right on 2 hours 59 minutes. So we ready to sign up out of here. You know, it's been real. I think they calling for some more weather next weekend as well.
Right.
From what I understand. So we might be able to come on Super Bowl Sunday. You know,
that's right.
A little before the game, you know, do a little pre-game jump.
We stand flexible, so that could happen.
Yeah, that could happen, you know. So especially if it's some weather.
Oh yeah.
You know. So I don't know if there's anything left in the market. I don't know if the trucks hit, because you know how they clean the markets out, I heard.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you know how they do, man. They call for some storm or something, man. Everybody go to the market like they're gonna be in the house for 6 months.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did stop in there, and you might be in the house, you know, like, I don't know, wiping your ass with something, you know, something else. Yeah, because it get ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It get ridiculous.
I went Thursday during the middle part of the day. I was off, and I said, let me stop in the store while I'm here. They ain't calling for snow still third Saturday, Sundays. I got I'm a couple days. I figure I go now.
You was early.
Oh my goodness.
You thought you was early.
Yeah, I thought I was early, man. I'm in there with all the senior citizens, man. They had all the aisles all blocked up and carts all in the way, man.
Right.
Come on, man. What are we really doing here? And then I tried to get some gas.
Mm.
I'm on my way to basketball practice, and my light came on.
Mm.
You know how that goes. Gas light came on. I thought I could make it.
Mm.
Gas light came on. I looked at the clock. I said, well, I got time. Let me stop and get some gas. Man, I went to BJ's on Bel Air Road. You familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Man, the line was out the Bel Air Road.
Wow.
I couldn't even turn in there. I get to the, I'm coming up to the light, like it's like I see the light is green, but the turn lane ain't moving. I said, what's going on?
They got gas. BJ sell gas over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only place I get gas now.
That right? Wow.
They always cheaper than everywhere, yo.
But you got to have a card to
Club.
get that gas, or the gas?
Yeah. You gotta have the card.
Got to have a card, right? Yeah. I don't
But now you can get gas, but if you don't have the card, you probably the price a little bit different.
Paying more.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a little more.
Pay a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, but I got the membership over there, so. But the line was all the way out to Bel Air Road, man. And I said, man, this is crazy. So I had to turn around. I just went on to basketball and came back that night after basketball, and there still was a line. This wasn't all the way out to Bel Air Road.
Yeah.
But it still was a line. I said, man, people just we hear about some bad weather, man, and we just lose our minds, man. We gotta get the gas, we gotta fill the tanks up. We getting, people filling up their little gas cans for the generators and all this stuff. Whew.
Yeah.
I can't wait till springtime.
Yeah, this make you think about spring. Yeah, this kind of weather make you think about spring, man. So
this is crazy. Yeah, but look out for us, man. Next week we're gonna have them Super Bowl predictions. Possibly. Super Bowl is 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, so we'll be on next week anyway. But
we'll be on next week anyway. But if it's a snowstorm, we might come on during the snowstorm while everybody in the house.
Take advantage of that. Yeah,
can't go nowhere, so they come in and we can entertain some folks. Thanks for everybody that's new. Been checking us out on YouTube, Instagram. Make sure y'all following all my socials: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you will, please. I appreciate you. And check us out next week. Something you want us to talk about, somebody you want to see come up on here, do we do little interviews and stuff. Hit my inbox. Hit me up, man. I'm good about that. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Let me get out of here before I lose my breath. But y'all have a good rest of your night. We talk to y'all next week.
Adios.
Peace.